up, bitches? Welcome to Deliciously Nothing, episode 140. I'm your host, Nick Weir. I've got a great cast of characters with me today. I've got my buddy Sean Hughes.
How's it going?
And Kate Blower. And, of course, Reverend Buffington.
Hola.
All right. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Dude, I am wonderful. I don't know. How much does the camera see that Sean's bag is over there?
The color is.
Should I move it a little more right there?
I mean, if you want to, yeah.
There we go. So those, if they can see it.
Sean is a comic, but he's also a balloon artist. So we do have him on here tonight. And he might do some balloons for us later.
I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Really?
Yeah. I love you to death, but when we have you on the show, you're like in and out, and we don't really have a chance to like sit down with you. And now we have a chance to sit down.
Well, this is a longer form sit down as compared to the Saturday show.
Saturday shows are so chaotic.
Saturday shows are like in and out. You're moving people in and out. Where this is a more longer form. Hey, you can sit and talk about whatever. So.
No,
exactly.
It's like I said, I've been waiting for this for a while. There's a lot of people that I enjoy hanging out with on the Saturday show, and I just know that there would be an interesting guest for like a Wednesday show for when we're just really kind of just chilling, and it's so hard to get someone on a Wednesday because everyone is like, that's where they have work the next day or something like that. So it's really hard to get someone on a Wednesday night.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. It can be.
But anyway, I found out because of Nick and was like, oh, yeah, I'll come on Wednesday show.
Dude, come hang out. We have nothing to... I don't have any crazy topics to talk about right now.
Well, I've got some. I've been building some up. So
let's toast everybody right there. Okay.
I will say that since we're all talking about comedy and the open mics, I have done my first set. I did my first minute.
I saw that.
Did you see it? Did you like it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't mean to. I didn't have anything prepared. A comic showed up, but then split. And so as people were like looking for him, thinking he's still on the property, I just got up and just started speaking. I started the things talking about black underwear. It was something I was just kind of working on, and I didn't go anywhere. And then I started kind of remembering a bit, and so I went into it and everything, and got a laugh, and so I kept on. And so it's like it kind of got me excited to like actually go up and do a mic. Like I want to go out and do a mic now.
You should, dude.
Yeah.
There's plenty of mics in town.
Oh,
Well, we still have the Green Light on Sundays. We still have Third Coast on Mondays.
Yeah, Third Coast on... Gosh, I'd have to look at my list on my phone.
We still have Hubba Hubba. I haven't been to that one in
on Mondays?
I don't think... I think that's only a once-a-month thing now.
Oh. Was it Light Coaster? Right? That's what it was called?
That's what
I did that one time. I felt so bad because, like, it was quiet. So it's like, if you go into Hubba Hubba, it's like the bar area, and then you have to go down this little ramp type situation, and then there's like a seating area with the stage.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quiet in the seating area. I had already told some friends that I'm going to be doing that mic, and so they're there, but they are loud and in the bar. And so they're kind of like over the comics, and like it felt so weird, like as if I was trying to rope a bachelorette party, but not really. It's not really, because it was.
But it's also your friends,
It's
too.
also my friends, but then also they're not talking loud enough, because when I got out there, it projected, like not to toot my own horn, but it projected, and they could hear me in the bar area. And so like I apologized when we were leaving, but they like all the comments looked at me, and I felt like they hated me. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to have brought an audience, but also I'm sorry to have brought a loud audience. Yeah, I was like,
Sometimes you run into those, though, like doing the open mics and everything, bringing your friends. Sometimes you just learn some of your friends are bad. Like, don't bring them to shows. But then you have your other friends that are like, no, you want them at your shows because they'll laugh, they'll pay attention.
And usually that's what these girls do. It's like a lot of girls that were with me, and when other shows that I've had, they're recording, they're laughing, they're interacting, and then like they're interacting with the other people. But I guess the comics that night just did not want to be interacted with, which that's okay. I mean, that happens.
Sure.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't like to do crowd work. I don't really like to do crowd work, so it's like when the crowd wants to work you, it's like, how do you get out of that?
Yeah, that room was always very weird because a lot of times you're always talking to the bar.
Yeah.
You know, and they're just in the back. Like, you might have one or two people over here. They're usually comics. There may be actually one or two real people, but like, you know.
And sometimes you don't really know what's all over there until you turn the corner. So it's like you may walk in and think that that's it because there is like still seating area there.
Exactly.
So you're like, oh wait, there's more.
Oh, you're good. You're good. But we still got tons of mics in town, at least Sunday to Friday. So you got a lot of options of where you could go.
Correct. I have the list right here open. The East Room's on Tuesdays. Also Tuesdays, there's Knock 'em Dead, which is at the Love and Exile now.
Exile, that's the new one.
And then there's Bobby's Idle Hour, which is the late one on Tuesdays.
So
Yep,
that one
with
I won't do because that's Hobbs' mic, and I'm not getting in front of my Hobbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
No, I love him to death. Don't get me wrong.
Gotcha.
I love Hobbs so much, but I need to get like a couple of mics underneath my belt before.
Gotcha.
Teddy's Tavern on Wednesdays.
There
Dirty,
you go.
or was it, I think it's
That's
Dirty
the one
Mike and
that
the Boys is what they call
Yes,
it.
that one you would like.
That was really
Yeah.
fun.
That's
But there's
your
just
crowd.
some guys
Gary
that-
hangs out there too.
There's some
You can
guys
see
that
Gary.
just intimidate me, and Hobbs intimidates me. John Dollar intimidates me. Like there's,
John,
yeah,
really?
like I wouldn't like
But
not
there's
as a
such-
friend, not as a friend. Like sitting down and hanging and knocking him back, no. But like if like I was gonna go do a mic and you're like, oh well, John Dollar's there, I'd be like, I don't know if I'm going up.
Yeah, but
No, I get that. I haven't done the lab one just because it is intimidating sometimes. Because like these.
oh, and it's its
people-
own mess if you've ever been out
I was
there.
listening to
Oh, I
Joe
bet it
Rogan,
is.
And,
It's-
Jelly Roll was talking about the lab on the latest episode. So like
Really?
it's starting to
It's
really
popping
like,
off. Like
catch
I went
on.
there.
Yeah.
The couple
Good.
But
shows
you've got
they had there.
70 local comics going for. I don't want to say anything
Spots,
that'll deprivate me, but they're all not. Even though there's some people that have said, "Oh yes, they're random number all the time." No, they're not. I'm sorry. The odds on basing the statistical odds with the amount of comics and some comics that get on all the time, it's like no, it's not. But it is what it is. It's comedy, so.
Because you also need to pack the house and stuff.
You also need to pack the house. There,
There,
Zanies is also looking at it like the business as what they should, as compared to a regular
should.
open mic,
True.
where they want to make sure that people come back. So they want really good people that they know they're really good, and then there are a limited amount of actual open spots. But the spots are only 4 minutes each. So if you've got some people who suck, then it's not as detrimental to the evening as. We've all been to a mic where it's like suck after suck after suck after suck, and you're like, oh.
That's true.
Backyard's back.
Hey,
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
So apparently, like, I followed their story because like they had their first open mic, and I went there and it did well. And I was talking to the girl that books the shows after the fact, and she was like, "Yeah, I want you on here," and I was like excited about it. But then I guess
Nice.
they disappeared from Instagram.
Yeah, it got
Yeah,
their
and-
account got like deleted.
Yes, and they came back and they kind of like put all like the story of what had happened, and apparently it was just like a glitch, just a glitch in the system or like a
That's
clerical
crazy.
error, if you will. But they got everything back, and then their first show is going to be on the 23rd, and I hope they come back with open mics because that
yeah.
was hot. That was a hot mic.
That was.
And it was like you
True.
could feel the energy in that room. It's like everyone was just like hyped because like they kept cutting the time that you had. Because like so many people were in there and they only had like some odd spots, but then they were just like fuck it, everyone go up. But the people that were
Yeah.
towards the back of the list, it's like okay, 3 minutes, go. And so it's like in your head, you're thinking about like what am I gonna say, and you're like okay, like let me shorten it there. How does it transition into that? And it was fun. I had a great time.
Nice. All right.
Okay.
It was like a line of cocaine, but like energy. But make it comedy. No.
I only did the PP mic a few times, and it was like earlier on in its existence. I think when gosh, it wasn't the lady that's running the shows now. I think Chris was still running the whole thing by himself. But yeah, dude,
It's in a
like,
new spot too.
it's-
I guess they're not at Sonny's anymore. They're
Really?
at some place called Sidecar, which looks great. Like on their story, you can see they're kind of like setting it up. So I'm excited.
Really?
I bought a ticket to the show. Y'all
Hell
should too.
yeah. Buy tickets.
23rd.
I looked at the wrong camera. Buy tickets.
23rd.
Yeah, the cameras are fucked, dude.
I don't know why I'm worried about the cameras. Our quality isn't great, but we love you. You know. Hell yeah.
So what else did you want to talk about?
Man, there's all kinds of things. You know, you think about things during the week. Yeah, I should talk about this, and I should bring this up, and there's like a lot of different things. And right now, I'm drawing a blank.
It's kind of like when someone asks, like, so tell me about yourself. And I'm like, I know nothing.
Yeah. I've lived with myself for 50 years. I don't know who I am.
I don't know what I watch. I don't know what I listen to. I don't know what I like.
Not knowing anything.
To not knowing anything.
I got you beat by 5 years, by the way.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
Cheers to you, Sean. I'll tell you what. I'll throw it to sports real quick.
All right.
People, Preds fans, it's okay. Everything is okay.
Oh, did they lose?
We have not started great. So the season has started.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the season.
We are 3-0. We're not 3-0.
0-3.
0-3.
So do sports have their own pronouns?
No. Sports doesn't have their own pronouns.
Because I noticed when I said, did they lose? And then you said, well, we're kind of in a spot. So it's just like, I was just wondering.
Nick identifies as a predator.
I do
That's what he
identify
does.
as one. I do. That is true. That is a fact everyone knows already, though. It's not like it's right in front of you.
Thank you. I wanted to say that.
There you go.
Well, it's been a running joke,
Yeah.
and he never stops himself from saying it, and he continues saying it. For the last 2 years I've known him, he's like, yeah, I'm a predator.
I am. I say it a lot. But
I work in children's family entertainment, so I don't know if we need,
I know. That's true with the balloons.
Yeah. Speaking of the balloons, so like if you're booked for, say, a child's party, and you wind up showing up and it's a frat party, like what would be your change up? You're going to do the gig anyway.
I'm going to do the gig no matter what,
yeah.
especially if the check is good. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
I don't do anything off color. And not because, mostly because I'm in that.
So you keep it clean.
I keep it clean no matter what.
All right.
But I can do things that impress the grown-ups.
Okay.
Like I've even done balloons. I used to do back in 2016. I did balloons for the Tennessee Titans before their football games, and going back to the sports.
So cool.
And you do things for the grown-ups that are there. It's not an uncommon thing. Like for one of the things I do is wedding receptions. Well, people have it there for the kids while the adults have their fun.
Sure.
But after the adults have so much of this,
Right.
they're all in line and getting stuff.
Sure.
So you do stuff that they would like, but you don't necessarily have to go in that direction. And the reasons being, this is kind of more my modern take on that. Did anybody know who Blippi is? Children's character. You have seen him if you look at him on your phone. He's a guy that wears the blue short with the orange suspenders, the orange bow tie, that funny looking hat. If you saw him, you might know him. Yeah. He's a famous children's character right now, still on PBS, I want to say.
Okay.
The guy who created Blippi, there was a video that came out of him years and years ago in the early days of YouTube that somebody unsurfaced before Blippi. Well, let's just say Blippi wasn't very appropriate.
Oh, like an early version of Blippi.
Not the Blippi, but the character, the guy who played Blippi.
Oh, all right.
And that got released. And finally, he was like the executive producers, but there were other people, the powers that be in PBS, were like, you can't be Blippi anymore. Now, he still makes money off the character. I think he's an executive producer, but he's not the character anymore. They have another guy coming in because there was such a backlash about that. And so in comedy and balloons and everything, I don't want somebody to go, because I make a pretty decent living at doing this. I don't want somebody to come in and go like, no, I'd have you do our this and this function, but I saw that video that you did online. Even though I do in some videos dog Southern Baptist, and that'll probably get me in trouble one of these days, but who knows?
That's fair. Well, In my opinion, I like the impressive things you've done, like the toilet seat and the fucking Scooby-Doo. That one's always great, right?
I've been trying to like workshop some jokes for Scooby-Doo.
Mickey Mouse, that was another
The
one I
Mickey
think you've
Mouse,
done.
I've done.
A Goofy hat.
I've done all kinds of stuff.
That's true. He does a lot of balloon animals, people.
If you want to follow me and see some of the pictures, you can go on Facebook, look for Sean the Balloon Guy. That's Sean, Sean. Sean the Balloon Guy also on Instagram. Those are the two platforms I am. I haven't done TikTok with balloons, even though I do have TikTok for stand-up comedy, and I have put some stuff on there, balloon stuff, just because they were cool.
There you go.
But
Well, that's something, at least.
But I've done balloons. Going back to that, I've done balloons for the Predators. I got to do the last playoff game last year.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to do any of them. I had to subcontract, and finally, the last one they called, they was like, I can do this one.
Sweet.
And I
That's sick.
think they lost, and that was their end of their playoff run.
Yep, that was it. I lost to your home.
It's all my fault.
Dude, it's been tough. I went to opening night when we lost to Dallas.
Oh, that's always a hard
It
one to
was
lose,
like
too.
4-5, I think. So that one wasn't too bad. And then I went to the one on last night against Seattle, which was a 7-3 loss.
Oh.
It was very rough to sit there and watch the whole game. But it was still fun. Still fun. They're figuring their shit out. They're gonna be fine.
If you're at the beginning of the season and it's not going well, that's one thing. You're at the end of the season and things aren't going well, then that's where they go,
Sure.
let's start reconsidering some jobs here. Let's start.
Exactly.
Plus, I don't think they like expected to be the it girl for a while. Like,
No.
cause I remember for a time like Nashville has a hockey team. Like it was like one of those like, huh. But then they started winning and they had that really really good season, and then it's like, how do they keep that? You know.
I don't know. It's hard. It is hard.
Same thing with the Titans. Their first year, like back in what was it,
They went to
1999?
the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
They went to Super Bowl.
And I've never
Hasn't
been back
happened
since.
Yeah.
Well, they had the one year right before COVID where they made it to the AFC Championship. And then they lost the AFC Championship. That's the closest we've been since.
Did y'all see the documentary about McNair, who had shot him? They still don't really know.
No.
They don't know.
I haven't
Didn't they
watched
assume it was
yet.
his girlfriend?
Yeah, but she dead too. Well, like, so he had a side piece, and she was dead in there too. And what and what had happened was like somebody was on the scene, like whoever owned the actual apartment checked in, or I don't know what was going on. It was kind of like a party apartment essentially, or like a bachelor pad. Checked in on him, thought he was asleep on the couch. It's a full-on dead body with blood, and there's like another full-on dead body on the floor. And he went to the kitchen, had a slice of pizza, had a beer, called not the cops, called somebody else who was like kind of a friend of McNair's or like bodyguard of McNair's, something like that, and was like, hey, you got to come over and check on your dude. And he comes over and checks on the dude, and like, sure enough, he's dead. And he calls the cops, and like, they don't know if that first guy has anything to do with it. They don't know if the wife had anything to do with it. Not so much. It was like probably something that he was caught up with, and with the side piece and the guy that owned the apartment. But they don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, I
That's
think.
insane.
I always thought it was a murder-suicide is what they said officially, wasn't
I
it?
remember that too. I remember, and I was sad to hear that because like McNair was my guy. Like I had the number
Is
9
this
jersey, and I was
Steve
like,
McNair?
Steve McNair, yeah, number
Aaron
the football
McNair.
Aaron
pro.
McNair.
he
I've
played
met
better
him
when he
before.
was injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him at Kmart. He did an autograph signing.
Hell yeah!
Very cool.
I met him at Hooters back when they were the Oilers.
Nice. Very cool.
What are you doing at Hooters?
I was with my mom.
Oh, okay.
I was like 8.
People actually eat there, believe it or not. I know that's hard to believe.
I was a kid and went to Hooters. I was a kid.
It was
I went to
fun. They had
Hooters
like
a
the
few
zip
times.
lines back in the day where they put the ticket on the zip line and then it goes to the kitchen. And they give you little frisbees with the owl on it. It was pretty wholesome as far as like a family establishment. They understood that kids would be coming in
It
there.
was like Toots with big tits. That was it.
It's way different
Yeah.
from what I remember.
Toots with
Hooters.
push-up bras.
I always felt robbed going to a lot of Hooters because there weren't many Hooters going to a Hooters. There was just
That can also be true. It can also be
Kind
true.
of like the strip clubs in Clarksville.
But I can appreciate like a nice booty with a small upper. Like, can you like right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I can appreciate
For sure.
that. Like, I guess I'm more into butts than to butts. Do you want another shot?
2 butts.
To butts.
The butts. Okay.
Butts. Sean, do you like butts? You like big butts?
And I cannot
There
lie.
you go. To big butts.
Two big butts.
Yeah, we talk about a lot of stuff on here.
It's all good.
We talk about.
Sean, what do you like conspiracy theories at all?
Hell
That was Kate for those people who are.
Yeah, dude.
I do have my conspiracy theories and things that I wonder about.
Yeah, what do you wonder
The
about?
biggest one lately is especially the first Trump assassin. And I haven't gone deep enough into the news.
Because I was just about to talk about that. Please, can we talk about it?
Go ahead, dude.
No. First, I want to know your opinion on it, and then I will definitely chime in on my
No,
opinion on it.
this was the research. I haven't done enough research into it to give, because the problem is we go with so much hearsay and what we see on social media and stuff. And my penalized for this later. My wife is big on social media news, and I'm like, girl, don't stop. It's not news when you hear something on social media or somebody opinions on it. Sure. But that being said, my wife will probably never see this. I'll be okay.
She's at home.
She's at home. She is, I'm sure. But you kind of have to wonder. I mean, that was such a comedy of errors with the way everything happened, and then Biden resigning. There are those people who have thought that they were actually trying to take Trump out, and then there's that trick. Now, I'm not saying I'm into that or not, but you have to wonder if there was more to it than what was there, where they were. And I'm not necessarily a Trump fan. Let me say that first of all. There was the timing of it where they were trying to take Trump out. It was unsuccessful. And then somebody came to him. The story was somebody came to Biden and said, okay, this didn't work. You got to leave. You got to get out of this race. So that was the big conspiracy theory. And there are things I wonder about, but I also know that I haven't done enough research into this. And you're giving me that look right now. So I'm really interested in knowing what you think and what you...
So
Now, there's the opposite side as well, where people think that it was a setup on Trump.
all right.
Okay, go ahead. I really want to hear.
or that he staged it, right? That was the other thing.
My son. My son. All right. So when I was a kid, I was really into filmmaking.
Okay.
I was also into pranks, and a lot of the things that we would do, and this is mid to late 80s, where you just had a handheld and you're doing shit in front of people that don't know who the fuck you are, and then you're trying to do something that's realistic. The very first thing when I first heard about the Trump assassination was that people thought that it was an inside job, but not for the Trump side, that it was the Biden administration. And I didn't really know too much. I saw the very first clip, and then I wound up just thinking that the possibility of it, actually being real seemed very slim. And I'm a skeptical person anyway. And I wound up making fun of the video, and I spliced it with the Haktua girl. So it's her doing the Haktua thing, and he's doing like this, and right. So I didn't think too much. And then that actual video that I made got some traction, got like 6,000 views in a couple of days, and I was like, oh shit, I think I fucked up. And then kind of going into it about what it was and stuff like that. And as I started looking at it from the beginning to the end, and this isn't before we found out who the shooter was, where the shooter was shooting from, all this other stuff, I started just looking at Trump itself from the moment that he got shot till he ducked, till he got back up, and everything that had happened, things that he had said. All of a sudden, I was like, wait a minute. If I was going to pretend that I had gotten shot by somebody and somebody else was also in on that prank, and this is a prank also that I've done before, the very first thing that you want to do when you pretend that you get hit and you want that blood on is that and this is the wrestling move. They do this in wrestling, by the way. I mean, I'm not into wrestling anymore, but as a child, you're into wrestling. You conceal a blood caplet. or a blood bag, something that's going to have the amount of blood that you want to convey, and that's hidden. His podium actually had a card that he could hide behind, and then when he dropped, he had no blood on him when he dropped. And then when he came back up, he had blood, but it was in the wrong direction. Then when his Secret Service got up to him, his very first thing was like, wait, let me get my shoes. If you have an active shooter trying to murder you, are you concerned about your shoes?
What kind
That's
of
a
shoes
good
are they?
point.
Good point. Not those type of, well, he is a billionaire or was a billionaire. He probably has some good shoes. Anyway, then once he gets his shoes, they're trying to get him off the stage still. He doesn't know if anyone has been killed, if they're still firing at him. They don't know anything. He stops for the publicity stunt. And this is what really got me, was where he goes to do the fight thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, why would you do that when someone's firing at you? You're going to break from the huddle of your Secret Service? What kind of confidence did you have that you could break from that Secret Service? These men are on the job to protect your life with their lives.
That's true.
And you're going to come out of that to go fight, and then they're going to take you off the fucking... there was no concern for his own life, the way that it looked like. And so then that's what got me into the whole idea of being like, oh, wait a minute. So then as the story started to come out...
Makes sense.
Do you know that this kid Crooks not
Crooks.
only climbed... Funny, right?
Yeah.
Not only climbed on top of a building not very far away at all, but the building that he climbed up on top of was the Secret Service headquarters for the entire event. So just think that we're all the Secret Service, and Trump is outside doing his own thing, and we're all here in the equipment. We've got all the surveillance equipment, and he's right up here.
Like, we're gonna let him.
He's
get
right
up
up
there.
here.
Yeah,
Like someone could have literally
get up there?
just stuck their head out and popped him, and it's been. They could have shot through the fucking roof. It was a tin roof, and it would have been done. They also then showed a video of everybody. They knew he was up there. There was people in the audience 20 minutes before anything had happened. They were on camera filming him, climbing up on there, filming him up there, filming people around going, Crooks is up there. The whole entire time for 20 minutes, they knew he was there on top of the Secret Service headquarters for this rally.
Wow.
Shit was
Okay.
staged.
I'm saying it's staged, and not
That's
only was
so
it staged,
crazy.
but someone lost their life in this. Now, if you saw where Crooks was, this is Crooks. This is Donald Trump. This is the man that got killed right here. Crooks is shooting dead at Trump and near misses the motherfucker, right? Supposedly, right?
Yeah.
But the dude that dies is over here on that side of the bleachers where Trump was not at. So why is the dude just shooting randomly now? Like, what's really fucking going on? I think what they did is they wound up finding a kid that was mentally ill and known to be a bad shot, but also a good enough shot that he could possibly be a scapegoat for the attempted murder of Donald Trump. And this is how devious I think it wound up gotten when I started really looking at it, the whole thing, that if somebody, it doesn't matter who the president was, and not say it wasn't Donald Trump, say it was Joe Rogan running for president, does the same thing, right?
Yeah.
If you're so devious that you're going to stage something where also you guarantee that someone has to die to make sure that it looks real, that's the most devious shit ever. Now, did it get any more press than it did? No. What happened when it got covered up? Immediately got covered up. There was no press conference. Nobody said anything about it. It was immediately covered up. Immediately.
And this is the thing that gets me. They cremated the dude's body like really fast. I would be like, shouldn't you keep that around for a while if you want to test for like drugs or something like that? No, they just immediately like got rid of everything.
They also had the ability to capture him without killing him.
No,
They didn't have to kill him. They had sharpshooters there. They could have easily taken him out without killing him.
I will say this as somebody, believe it or not, who's had to work with the Secret Service before. in this career, believe it or not.
Right on.
Because believe it or not, I had to do balloons one time for Al Gore when they were having a birthday, something at the,
we'll get to that.
Okay. They are very thorough. Two things about it. They are very thorough. One time when I was working this event, I had to go fix a contact, needed a few minutes, and a Secret Service guy had to escort with me to make sure that I wasn't doing anything weird. That was where I was like, I got to go to the bathroom, and they were like, we got to have somebody go with you. I was like, okay.
And you're
I'm just fixing a contact, and I'm in a clown outfit of all things. Working with the Secret Service. I've got a picture somewhere of me and Al Gore together. I'll have to find one of these days.
And you're in the clown outfit.
I'm in the clown outfit. But I will say this also, because I know enough people, and my brother works security, he works specialized security. He used to do security with Taylor Swift. And he still does specialized security. When you have somebody that you're shooting at somebody, you don't shoot to wound somebody. You shoot to kill. Okay. And that's the only caveat. Not to say that I think that anything else is invalid, because I would not doubt anything at all, and I still don't know.
No one does.
But and I agree. But when you shoot somebody, if you're in a situation like that, you're shooting to take them down. You're not shooting to hope maybe they'll get back up or something like that. And in all training and stuff, because once again, I have a brother who does this, believe it or not. If you shoot somebody, you shoot to kill. You don't shoot and hope that they get back up and maybe you could capture them. You take them out.
I get that. Totally get that. But the reason why I say that, though, is because I think that, again, he was on the building for 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. After the fact?
He was no, before the fact.
No, before the fact.
Before the fact. He was walking around. He was seen walking around with his rifle.
With a rangefinder.
Oh. Supposedly. That hasn't been proven yet. But
that hasn't been proven? That's what I had heard.
That was from day one.
Yes, that he was walking around with a rangefinder and everybody was like, okay, sure thing.
It was kind of like that one kid back in the day during the BLM movement, and where he was just in there with his AR-15. He's his mom dropped him off.
So he went down there looking for trouble. You're not going to...
Yeah, that was a whole different story. But he did. He definitely looked for trouble.
And he found it.
He found it.
And it's really kind of... See, this is the thing when it comes with those ARs, because the ARs, they say that they're not rifles, that they're pistols. If you're holding a pistol like this, that's not a fucking pistol. A pistol isn't a two-handed fucking weapon. A pistol is a one-handed weapon. That's why it's a pistol. But they go, we're going to put I don't know. I'm not a gun guy, but
they knew he was up there.
But see that? Okay, so there we go.
And this is what I almost did before I came here, because I was thinking about, I was going to but ran out of time, make some of the favorite thing. I was going to make an assault rifle out of balloons and
I wish you
because
did.
it was one of the, you could have you guys talk and I sit there and we'll work on something if you want.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but okay, so
Go ahead. It's okay.
Well, what would you like to make?
No, we'll finish this first. Let's finish this first. Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
The only reason why I say that, we already know that, and I hate to do political, but this is one of the things that I've been trying to go Sloan, and Sloan is big into conspiracy theories.
Love to go
and so I'm trying to go Sloan into it, and Sloan won't take it on air. He won't do it on air with me, and it's fine. I love him to death, Sloan. I love you to death. But it's just I don't have anyone to really talk about it with, so this is the first time. But so we know that last election, Trump was calling people. I can't remember exactly who it was, but he was like, "Get me, however, 10,000."
Called
votes.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Called the Georgia find me votes.
Find me votes. Find me some. I need this many votes and everything. And of course, that's so wrong because it's already down to the Electoral College anyway at this point.
True.
That's the reason why no Democrat, Hillary hasn't won, Al Gore hasn't won. Those cases right there was the Electoral College. In this particular case, I don't think it was going to go to Electoral College just because people didn't want Trump in office. And I think that since we know that he's already to the point where he's willing to do whatever it is to get the votes, I think that he saw the point where this will be something that will boost him into... Look, when I first found out that it was he had the assassination attempt on him, it was like, oh, that's done. He's president. It's done. It's done deal. There's nothing that Biden can do or anyone can do. He's president. There's boom. It's a done game, right?
But that's why Biden resigned. to take the media attention away from that. I said it where it was like, Biden resigning is kind of like announcing you're pregnant at a wedding. Like, you are.
That's true.
So I can see that, and I've heard that, but also I think that they were kind of resting everything on Biden's shoulder because there wasn't anybody that they felt that, because like Biden is in office, they didn't think that Biden also said that he wasn't going to dip. I mean, he said that he was going to run again. So with that being said, they had to stand behind him and make it seem that he was viable. And clearly that debate when he walked out there and he was just speaking gibberish, I mean, I think that is the reason why he stepped down. He went out there with the full intention to fucking, toe the party line, and he went out there and lost his shit.
Yeah, but he was going the whole time afterwards like, I was sick, it was okay. But I have to wonder if there was so much pressure on that end where there were people coming out like, I think George Clooney put out an op-ed on one of the newspapers saying like, he needs to step down.
Well,
and he was hosting one of his fundraising events before this. Was he not? I think. I could be. I normally keep up with the news, so if I'm wrong, I apologize right now to your viewers right here.
I
don't pay
usually
attention to any of
deal
it,
with any
but-
of the videos that people make where they show whoever is the standing president doing stupid shit. We've seen it with everything. But Biden, there was so much, in particular, where there was moments where, like, he turned around during one thing where everyone was standing at attention. He turned around, he was clapping, and he was looking off into nothing. And some of the things, like, and I'm looking at these clips and then going back trying to find bigger versions of that clip to see exactly. He has lost his fucking mind. And I'm not saying that he's. I'm not saying that he's a bad person.
No.
I'm just
He's
saying
an
that he
old
is.
man. That's all.
Thank you. I'm saying
old.
he
He
is
is.
incapable of running a country.
I agree. But I think they all do stupid stuff.
No, they all do.
Like for example, Kamala Harris has this really famous video, and I've seen this video, where she's like, let me give you a history lesson. Brackets in women's basketball, NCAA basketball, has only existed for like the past few years. And it's like, I remember watching women's brackets when I was in high school. I'm 55 years old. And it was just something that even the New York Post, and the video is out there of this going like, okay, this is stupid. And you could go on about how, Trump does and stuff like that. Oh yeah, definitely wackadoodle stuff.
So this is my only thing about Trump, and this is the only thing that anybody has ever said that I ever found true about him, is that he is the only president that when he got into office, he did what he said he was going to do, regardless of what it was. Like, and then the fact that, like the shit that's going on with like Putin and the stuff that's going on with like Israel and stuff like that. There's people, well, if Trump was in office, this shit wouldn't be going on, blah, blah. The reality of that, though, is that if Trump was in office, that shit wouldn't be going on. Like the Putin thing right now with Ukraine, that wouldn't be going on right now. The shit with Israel, more than likely, probably, it's just there was something. And I really hate to feel that way, because I really don't want to feel that that Trump is some kind of savior, because he's clearly not.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Clearly not. But when it comes to foreign dignitaries and the way that they look at Trump, as opposed to, they look at Biden as a bitch. They look at everybody else as a bitch. They look at Trump as somebody who is like, oh, here's a dude who fucks porn stars. He's a leader of the free world, blah, blah, blah. Before he even got into office, there was, I think it was some car company, I can't remember, that they were going to move more jobs to Mexico. And when he decided that he was going to be run for presidency, they stopped the shit. They were like, oh, no. They all of a sudden realized, oh, well, there's a new dog, and they're going to wait to see what that dog was going to bark. And they sure as fuck did. They didn't, it was like, and I hate to really say it that way, but he really is the one guy that if he got in office, regardless of what you won't agree what he's going to do, but he's that one guy that's going to he's going to get in the office and do what he said he's going to do.
Dana Perino has this great story about how, because I think sometimes we look at other foreign leaders and stuff and how they react, and we're supposed to think they're supposed to react and act within our parameters, and they don't because they're different cultures and different people.
Right.
But Dana Perino has this great story. She used to be the press secretary for George W. Bush. And one time, Gorbachev, was it Gorbachev, I think, who was president of Russia at that time? Yes.
Yeah,
I think he's like, no, it was actually Putin, I think, at one
It was
point.
Gorbachev, Yeltsin, and then Putin.
Yes, but one of them, he was like, sorry, he was visiting George W. Bush, and George had a really small dog. He was like, "This is my dog," you know. And so when George W. Bush was visiting Russia and visiting the president leader at that time, they had this Gorbachev had this big giant dog who was just like this mongrel who was trained. And he was like, in Russian, he was like, "See that? That's a dog." And they respect that strength is what it is. And that's one of the things that whether you like him, whether you hate him, he does have that strength in command of character.
Have you guys seen this TikTok account that's like Trump was meant to be a teenage girl? And it's this girl that's like in her room, like in a robe, and she's brushing her hair. And she's like she's talking to like a clique in the bathroom, like 80s, totally like Valley Girl type stuff. And it fits. It fits. There's like one that I posted that's just kind of like, somebody was telling me like, "No, you can't do this. No way, no way." And I was like, "Way." And it just her whole account, I wish I could remember the name, but it sends me. I was just like, this is one of the most funniest things I've ever seen. It makes me relate to Trump a lot more because it's like a Regina George almost. Like,
Yeah.
That's another thing that, he is kind of relatable
A polarizing character.
to a lot of people, which is also like, would you want to party with Biden? Like, if you went to a party and Biden
I would
was
drink
there,
tea with Biden.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like you would drink tea with Biden,
coffee.
right? But if you were like going to a party and then Trump was there, like, oh shit, oh shit.
There
It's a
was a
party.
time where we all liked him. He had the cameo in Home Alone 2.
He was a Democrat at one time.
Yeah, he had the
True.
You're
That's
fired.
true.
Whatever that thing was.
I'm not exactly. So they actually say that show is the reason that he had so much cred to become president.
Which show?
We did it.
The Apprentice or whatever it
Yes,
is.
yeah,
Okay.
it was The Apprentice.
So I think that there was some kind of strike that was going. So he was only like the real show. I could be completely speaking out of my ass. I'm not exactly sure.
I mean, it really kind of started with Reagan. I think it was Reagan who was like used to be in westerns or some shit.
Yeah,
and then
he was an actor. Bedtime for Bonzo was one of his movies.
Schwarzenegger over in California, and it
So-
just kind of like kicked
The
off like a
Terminator,
little
the
bit,
Governor.
There is a
Yeah.
tradition of actor Republicans
Bubba
that
Governor.
have. But now, let me tell you something. Like Arnold was a great governor for
The people of California.
It's like the last thing he did was just like, hey, and by the way, weed's legal. Bye, mic drop, and
Hey.
left. Right.
That's it.
So like, just despite what anyone might think about Arnie and everything, like I really felt like
And he was a Republican too. That's so
he
funny.
was. The thing that's the reason why there's not a president Arnold Schwarzenegger is just the whole rule that you've got to.
It's in the Constitution. You got to be a U.S.
You have to
citizen.
be a U.S. citizen, or no, you have to be born here, not just a
Yeah,
U.S.
you have to correct. You have to be a natural-born
You have to be
citizen.
dropped on this
Yes,
soil.
That's right.
and that's
But can you imagine President Arnold Schwarzenegger? Like that
Oh,
would
best.
be the greatest fucking thing in the world.
Do you remember
That's
the
what we
movie?
want.
Do you remember the movie Demolition Man?
Yeah.
Where they have President Arnold Schwarzenegger and they were talking about how they changed the Constitution
for him?
just to make him president? That would be
Incredible.
awesome.
I,
I
love
wouldn't
that.
change the Constitution because it's scary times. But again,
Yeah, dude.
if we can make an amendment just for Arnold, be like, this is Arnold. He's a national treasure.
He is. Okay, I would agree with that.
He came over here and like truly lived that American dream.
Like if we can,
Addendum.
yeah,
But
we
it's
should have a
Arnold.
national
It's
treasure
Arnold.
addendum where we have like people that we really, really love that weren't born here, but we're like, you could.
But
rule
they could
us.
do a good job.
You could rule us.
Yeah, dude, there should be, and it
Bow
should be
to
called
me.
the Schwarzenegger rule.
Yeah, the Schwarzenegger rule. Yeah, it should be.
I mean, it might be starting with like with Milena. She's from Russia.
I mean, he's pretty.
I want to drink wine with her. Because
With
I
Melania?
don't, because I don't think she expected to be where she's at. I think she just married rich. Expected like
She
a
did
cushion
not
kind of
expect
life.
this, no.
Yeah, she was like,
Yeah.
what
She
the
actually
hell
just put
did
out a new
I
book
do?
about that, as a
Politics.
matter of fact.
Hell,
Her
She's on a
first.
book tour now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's another thing. Like, so, like, you're president of the United States, but then, like, your bride, your wife is Russian-born. Like, should that not also be like a
Should the
red
first
flag?
lady also be
Also
from
be
here?
born? Yeah. Like, should that not be a stipulation? Because again, she is also influencing the leader of the free world. Say that they get in office and like Putin calls her up and is like, he can't have blowjobs anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
But then again, that goes back to where, just because you and I are the only ones that remember this, JFK, where they were afraid if he was elected because he was Catholic, that the Pope would have sway on what would happen in the White House.
Well,
Really?
that's also
Yeah.
part of that conspiracy
It's not
theory.
it's an old thing.
It's also part of that conspiracy theory. But then you can also, if you're going to do that, then you have to throw Marilyn Monroe into that.
I was getting ready to say, you got to throw her in
You have
there.
to.
Oh,
And there's
dear.
different, and like, so I haven't really seen it touched upon except for an American Horror Story. You guys follow American Horror
I
Story?
don't.
They
I've
used to.
seen some
Yeah.
of them.
So
Up to like the freak show.
their
or
last
hotel,
good
I
season
think.
was called Double Feature, which only the second part of the double feature is actually good. But it was this Area 51. I think it was. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it was the second part of Double Feature, and they go into that where and that's the great thing about American Horror Story, that they used to do these historical things and then blend them with like a lot of the fiction and stuff like that. But then also the American Horror Story universe. But in doing this, they really went back into that Area 51 timeline through like the Kennedy assassination and stuff like that. And they really did it justice to the point where they added that in with, Kennedy and Monroe, and that the fact that Monroe was this threat. And it's just, it's just like we see things, people do stupid shit now. We can call them out now because the technology is out there. Something may be videotaped, and we're like, no, that's like the Trump assassination attempted. Back then, back before the internet, people could make up anything. Man, I remember my mom could make up any name she wanted to and put it on anything, and that was her name. Like, that's just the way it was. Like, there was a point where no one would know anything. Like, anything before 1989 was the Wild West as far as, like, what you could fucking do. Once 1991 and you started seeing web addresses on shit, that's when things started to change. But before then, you could do whatever you want to do. You could be whoever you wanted. You could say whatever you wanted to say that you were. Imagine what you wanted to be. What did you want to be in life?
Oh, dude.
What
a
was the thing?
fucking astronaut.
Okay, so then everywhere you went, you were Nick Weir, astronaut. And if
Yes.
you didn't want to be Nick Weir, you wanted to be Robert Weir, you were Robert Weir, fucking astronaut. And no one had any fucking way to prove that you weren't at all. It was just a different fucking time back then. And so when you start going back to the Kennedy assassination and stuff like that, anybody can make up anything, and you have no way to fact check it. Only thing that you can do is either A, believe what you're being told, or B, not believe it. And that's where conspiracy comes, because there's this gray area between the A and B, and so people aren't seeing A and B, they're seeing A and C, and it's that B right there in the middle that's fucking everybody up. Right now we have everything that is, everything is online and everything is being documented right now. So it's really hard to get away with shit.
To fact check, we had to go to a library and pull out the card catalog.
The Dewey Decimal.
Yeah, Dewey Decimal
Yeah,
System.
and that's old information there.
That is.
Yeah.
Saw a meme this week that said, "I'm so glad I grew up in the 80s where we didn't have video and nobody recorded anything
Can you
stupid stuff that we
imagine-
did."
I mean, I couldn't imagine going to a party, one of my parties back in the day, and then someone standing around just filming around, or 10 people standing around filming shit.
Even now, it's a little weird.
Or-
It
so,
is strange.
You would get your ass kicked. Like, if you had, like, say, like, you were one of those schmucks that brought, like, a Polaroid camera. Like, dude, don't bring that fucking in here.
Now it's
Like-
kind of like refreshing if you see a Polaroid.
Right, it's kinda crazy.
You're like, okay, y'all, you're just here to capture a moment. It's cute. You're hanging on your fridge.
My girlfriend's very big on that. She does that everywhere we
A
go.
Polaroid?
Yes.
Oh,
I
wow.
like that. That's so
Yeah.
nice.
Well, like a lot of our date nights that we do, she brings it. You know,
Well,
like
that's
we.
just
Now
it.
you can have like the printer, and then you have like the little photo albums, and they've sized the things up to where you can put the little Polaroids in there. Like I have one. It's like it's not.
That's
cute.
kind of cool. It's cute. You know.
Because like photo
It's
albums,
nice.
people don't have photo albums anymore. We're fucking relying on Facebook photo albums and Instagram. Like that shit can crash at any fucking moment. You lose all those pictures.
Oh, it will.
Or your phone.
And
can
think of
crash
people
you
who
lose
get
all that.
hacked. Their accounts get, because
Right.
you've been
I
hacked.
got hacked.
You got hacked, and then all those
hacked.
pictures are just.
There.
Which is my advice to anyone out there: have your social media accounts on two-factor authentication.
Yes.
Absolutely.
In Nick's unoffense that he did give his information away, he didn't really get hacked.
Would you give your information?
You're just like,
Here.
A random dude in Nigeria.
Huh.
Who promised him money through an email if he would have, give him that
Exactly.
information.
and like every couple of months, I'd get this like fake Nick would like contact me. He's like, hey man, what's your phone?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'd be like, dude, you got my phone number. And then I look at the pictures like, oh, this is fake Nick. I'm like, I thought I blocked you. What the fuck, And then I go to him. I'm like, hey man, your account's been hacked. He's like, yeah, I know, man. He's like, could you report it? But like, yeah. And then 3 months later, fake Nick would call, hey man, can I borrow $200? No,
Fake
Yeah.
Nick.
fake Nick.
You
I mean,
Yeah.
I
Fake Nick
can't
to
get
a
into that
Friendsgiving.
account. They
There you
took,
go.
my
It's-
email, my phone number, all my stuff off. I can't do
Oh,
anything about it.
Did you go on your old
sucks.
account and download all your old pictures?
I've taken some of them, not a lot. I haven't really gone through it.
but who wants to go through that trouble?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
But it
with
depends
a
on the
lot.
pictures. Like, I would go, well, but most of the pictures I take on my phone and all that's backed up to the internet.
Exactly. Most
So-
of the pictures I posted on that account. I have all those. I actually have more than those in a way.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, I could picture going on, if I was hacked, I'd going on my account and getting pictures of my kids and stuff of the kids. But then again, all that stuff is backed up on Google
you've
for
already
me.
got that.
Yeah, if you've already got it on
Exactly.
Google. So,
it's same here.
What
Exactly.
killed me is when mine got attacked. Like I couldn't get the dude out of my account. I would be able to get back in, change the fucking account, and then thinking he's out of it, and then all of a sudden I was doing something on the screen. The screen would flip back to the security screen and showing that he's in there. I'm like, how did you do that?
He has the password to your
Crazy.
email, not the app itself.
Well, no, see, I went in there
So
and
he's
changed.
getting like the reset email and being
See,
able
I-
to do it on his end. So you got to change the password for your reset email.
Right.
And
So
then-
I was doing that too, and I couldn't figure it out. And I finally just decided, I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to give it up. And it would kill me because I had, like, you have people who have passed on, and like, your last
Yeah.
communications were on there. So it's one of those things where, like, I didn't want to lose that account just because of that. But then it was just like, I had to surrender because I couldn't get him out of the fucking account. I had to fucking call it a day. There was too much. All I could do was every time I got in there, is I was just nuking the account. I got, like, the last time I got in there, I was deleting every conversation because I didn't know who I gave my address to. I don't know. Yeah, I just nuked it, everything.
crazy.
two-factor authentication, boys and girls.
That's
Two-factor
But
authentication.
Isn't it crazy how much we value the text messages that we've sent to people?
If it's
Like you going through a
Someone
breakup or
who's
something like that,
passed.
and
If-
you're,
Yeah.
or it's like, and then it's like, do I delete this entire conversation of like a year or more?
Well-
My best friend, she had just moved to Germany, so her phone is no longer like her old phone number is no longer active. She's now like I have to communicate through WhatsApp. But we found out like our text messages here, there was like 80,000 of them. And it's just like it's crazy to think like, because I wouldn't want to delete all those. It's like it's crazy. Like it is weird to live in the time where technology is so much a part of our lives and social media is such a part of our lives, and it's like there's so much weight on a text or there's so much weight on a Facebook status or something like that.
depending on who that person is, especially if it's someone that's passed. But then also, there's people who would wind up deleting accounts from people who like have passed on. So there's people who actively do that. Like, I only have social media because of this show here. So like,
the account of mine that did get hacked was my personal account. So like my Reverend, my name, by the way, is not Reverend, if anyone doesn't know. So like my Reverend account is just for the show and just for booking, but it was my personal account, which was only, between me and, a few people that I know. And then a few people from the show contacted me through this particular account. And how I got attacked is they sent me, their account had got hacked. They sent me a video saying, "Oh, look at this video that I found of you. You won't believe it," or something like that. Now, at this point, I had been on YouTube for a couple of years. So, and I was in a band called the Mud Crickets, and we were notorious for showing up and getting hammered and doing crazy shit. So it's just like, well, I definitely want to see what this video is. So, of course, I clicked on it. There was nothing on there. I couldn't figure out, I was like, well, why did he send me this, blah, blah, blah. Then I couldn't get back into my account.
Yeah,
so
that's normally
when I clicked on it, it was done. It was like
malicious link.
Yeah. So there's nothing else I can do about it. And then every time I would, and it was literally, I was like race to get into the account, getting into it, trying to get him out, and then him on the back end trying to get back into it it was just, I could not get him out and I called it. I was like, fuck it, I can't do it. I can't. Fuck it. So the last time I went in there, I nuked it. I deleted every picture, every conversation. I deleted everything except for I made one new post. It was like, this is not me. My new account is blah, blah, blah. And fuck you all, good night. I think that's the last thing I said on it.
I'm so sad.
Nice.
Yeah. It kills me because like I don't have anything that you could gain from hacking, especially my personal account. Like, I understand if you were trying to hack my DNP account and trying to take my account. I can see that. But my personal Facebook account? I mean, why would you do something like that?
But, like, I've had friends who have had their accounts hacked. And normally what they do is, like, we'll give you your account back for X amount of money.
I've seen that, too. That's
like
been on the
CJ.
news.
CJ, comedian we both know. Do you know CJ?
She got her stuff
That sounds
hacked
familiar.
Yeah.
like a year or two ago.
Yeah, and they were like, you give us X amount of money and we'll give you your stuff back. She probably could have paid that, but
Right.
Why would you?
why would you? You don't know if
exactly.
you're going to get it back. You know, that has to, you have to depend on them being, oh, yes, of course they're going to be honest.
And I don't see value associated because in my mind I was like, well, I'll just make another account, fuck you, and I'll just contact all these people and fuck you still. I mean, why would I want to pay someone? I mean, again, I get it on their end, but I mean,
I guess it depends, like, pictures-wise. Like,
Yeah.
I would try to recover mine only because I was in college back when Facebook was a thing, and so it was, like, from 2008 to now as far as, like...
But like what he was saying, when you're posting that from a source, whether it's your camera
phones
roll.
back in the day, but, like, you switch out your phones and not it used to not be
Yeah,
able to back
okay,
up
so
the data from
right,
old
right.
phones.
That's true.
There's
That's
a-
all right.
Or from, was it the old-ass cameras where you'd have, like, the little small HDMI? Or USB, whatever. And, like, where are those cameras? Those cameras don't work anymore. No.
That's
True.
I actually, man, I've got so many like old SD cards. I don't
Me
even.
too.
I have no SD card readers, and I've got this old laptop, and the only reason why I've kept it because it's got a disk drive on it, and then on the other side it's got like 5 different size slots for different
Nice.
cards. So it's the only thing that I have, and it's like a 12-year-old computer now. But it's the only thing in my house that I have that will play a disc or read a
Because
card.
they got rid of the disc thing.
Yeah, it's all gone.
I have an external disc player just for that reason where I can plug it into my computer that I bought years ago because I bought a new laptop, but all my Windows software and software that I used was on disc, so I had to buy an external CD player for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a Blu-ray player. If I was gonna like buy a Blu-ray, which I couldn't remember last time I bought a physical disc. Everything's streaming now.
I'd
Yes.
be buying movies.
That's true.
I'd be buying
That was-
so many DVDs.
Like physical?
So many DVDs.
Alright.
There's
Hell
like
yeah.
boxes in my closet. There's a basket
Oh.
in another closet. And there's some just on display that are like, the hits.
This
Like, this is me as a person. Like, look.
This was actually a conversation that my wife and I had today because I was thinking about getting rid of my Disney Plus because they haven't put out a lot of stuff that I've like really wanted to watch.
Not a Star Wars fan.
I am a Star Wars fan, but they haven't put out. It's like I could rent it for a month, watch the series, and then
I do that with Shudder.
Gotcha.
Every 4 or 5 months, I do the free. So if you don't know, if you type in try Shudder 30, you can get a free 30-day trial for Shudder, and then on day 29, just delete it.
Yes.
Just cancel it, and you could watch because they only post like 5 things every 6 months that are worth it, and you can watch that within a couple of weekends. Like there's not one single streaming service worth paying for.
Yeah.
The best streaming service is Tubi. And it's
I would
free.
agree.
That's true.
Tubi
But
is
I
free.
wanted
And
to
they have
delete it
some good
because
stuff
Disney
on there
Plus is getting
sometimes.
ready to go up if you buy the year subscription.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be
Well,
like
even
$160 a
They
year.
own
The
everything,
monthly
though.
is going up too.
I
It's
don't-
like
They own
20,
everything.
Yes.
23
It is
bucks
going
or
up.
something.
But I was like, how often do we watch it? And she was like, and all the movies that she watches, she owns on a DVD. We have DVD players now, but she's like, no, I want to watch it on my laptop or my phone if I want to stream somewhere. And I was like, it was finally like, okay, I'll pay the $160.
Voodoo also has this thing where if you have the physical copy of something, like if you scan it, they'll give you the digital copy for a cheaper rate than if you were to buy it through there. So if you were able to prove that you had it, then I'm not exactly sure how you could. I don't have
Probably scan the QR code, I would
Probably,
think.
or the UPC code
Yeah.
that's on there.
Oh, UPC, sorry,
Yeah.
thank you.
But yeah, I mean, there's different things that you can do. I used to have a physical copy of every movie that I had, but then they would also give you the digital codes for them. So over the
They did.
years, my digital copy was like almost as big as my physical copy collection. And then I wound up having a hard time, and I wound up selling my digital or my physical copies because I had pretty much everything digitally. I mean, my Vudu account, I've got almost 500 movies on that digital account. So like, I'm not missing anything. The only reason why I have physical copies was for the commentaries. I love commentaries.
Idle
And
Hands
it's
commentary is
fair.
probably the best ones I've seen.
All right.
Nice.
Like to put a replay value on a movie. So like, say you want to watch a movie, but then like, you throw a commentary on it. Well, now you're watching it for the first time, kind of all over again. And then say if that movie has 4 or 5 different commentaries, well, now you have 4 or 5 different opportunities to rewatch a movie that you like, and then you can hear a different perspective because they have like an actor's commentary, director's commentary, producer commentary. And the John
Very
Carpenter's, any John Carpenter disc that you have and it's got a commentary, that's an hour and a half to 2 hours of great time. John Carpenter does a great commentary, and if it's with Kurt Russell, they sit back and you can hear the ice in their drinks as they're sitting there just knocking them back and having a good time. And the commentary is
All
just getting
that.
better and better as the movie's going along because they're just snockered. Dude, those are some great commentaries.
To commentaries.
Hey, yeah, it's a
Commentaries.
fucking
Commentaries.
I'm gonna go inside and grab me another drink. Does anyone need anything?
Can I
I
have that?
actually
Go ahead, please. No.
Could
It's
you get
not.
me a Coke and don't let Big B out?
Yes.
Here,
can do that.
Captain.
Or actually, is
Thank
there
you,
more
sir.
Bud Light inside?
There are more Bud Lights. Would you grab a Bud Light
Yes,
and a
yes.
Coke, please?
Bud Light and a Coke.
And please don't let Big B out.
And of course,
And
if
of
you don't
course.
mind. Sorry.
You got a hoodie on, right?
I do.
All right.
It's getting cold out
That'd be
there.
getting cold.
Well, it's got a collection device as well.
Ah.
You ever see somebody just completely hammered, they can't walk, but they got a full fucking hoodie of beers, and they're just
Yo.
dropping out
Yeah.
To full hoodies of beer.
There you go.
Bodies of beers.
So I'm really glad that you guys came out. I haven't
thank
seen
you.
guys in a while. Kate, it's been almost 6 months since the last time I saw you.
I do
Sean,
that
it's
minute.
been what, about almost a year?
It's been almost a year. I want to say it's been a year because the same situation that I have to do this, because I'm going to be back on the show this Saturday doing comedy.
Yeah, same season.
There you go. Come watch on Saturday. We'll both be back on. And I'll do some of my political jokes that I'm sure you'll love. I think it's like I'm going to be late, a little bit late, because I'm literally running from a gig. So I'll be in the orange and the regular work outfit coming from one to the other. So
We've done
no,
that.
no, I don't do clowning
I
anymore.
was about to say, I'm like,
No.
they
She was excited. No, I'm sorry. I don't do clowning.
so.
Don't do clowning anymore. It's where I wear the orange shirt and the tie with,
No, the last few times I think you've just kind of popped in. So
Yeah,
that's good.
so
I'm kind of nervous for Saturday, only because I wouldn't say I've been slacking on new material. There's just been like live shit been going on. So it's like I have the very first time I was on the show, I have that stuff, like that 7 minutes, and then like the second time that I did performance here, it was like that 4 or 5
Well,
minutes.
don't repeat. 'Cause
I know.
Sloan will tear you. Man, Sloan heckles people, right? But
I
like
know.
if
But would they?
so, Nick, we love Nick, right?
He'd remember. He'll because he's been hearing my shit
But
since the
Nick
beginning.
used to
yeah.
repeat when Nick would come on as a guest. He would like the first couple of times he would repeat his stuff. So the first time he repeated, Sloan was kind of like heckling him. The third time Nick came on and was repeating the same shit, Sloan was loud and audible about it and made everybody. I mean,
No.
it was funny, but it did make everybody in the room fucking feel uncomfortable. And then like.
Just let it repeat. See, I don't want to do that. I don't, but I don't
No,
have
don't.
a whole lot of new shit.
So just treat it like an open mic. Just
Okay.
get up there and just you don't
It's
have.
slim pickings. I've been trying for like the last couple of weeks.
And
to,
you
like,
don't have to
just,
do a whole 5 minutes. Like we say, you can
Oh,
do
thank
up to
God.
5 minutes. But if you
Okay.
want to go up there and do
like
60,
two to three.
that's good. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But
60 seconds or 60 minutes? I was like,
There
okay.
have been people. Ronit will go up there and do a.
Oh, that's not a surprise.
Oh,
yeah,
my
she
goodness.
does. Oh my
Which
lord.
is great. It was
We
good to
love
have her
her.
on the show. Last time we had her show was like a year ago before this last time, and she the day after she did their show, she got in that car accident.
Yes.
Fucked her up for a while. So we were so fucking good to be able to have her come back on and show that she's doing well.
That was
I love
good.
her.
But,
I haven't seen her since the closing of Twin Kegs.
Yeah, she's.
Me either.
I was actually on a show with her a couple Sundays ago where she's. It was actually earlier this month. Where she's doing better. She's out and about. She did a
she's
show
out and about
for
more, yeah.
she did a show for Monty Hicks
Nice.
out at Wicked Ollie's.
Yeah, that's
That's
fun.
the first
that
time
one
I
is
ever
cool.
met Ronit was when I met Monty and we were talking about doing this show live at Rebar
The
the Dam.
Rebar.
And so
which
I
you
went.
and I would go and do comedy shows.
I went and
at.
did-
I miss Rebar.
I went
Yeah.
to do or went to see
I
Monty's
miss
show that he was
Kegs
talking
the
about.
most.
Yes.
I love Kegs.
God.
That was like my favorite.
Oh,
place.
my
Like,
goodness.
That was the
House.
fucking one,
I'd just
dude.
be up there.
That was such a great venue.
It was.
It really was. And there are people who hated going up there, but would go just to be with other comedians because that was the hangout and stuff like that. But I actually loved going up on Kegs.
Yeah, it was fun. You know, like
I've done
I
kegs
have
a lot, not
of
as a
good
comedian,
memories.
but as a musician in my band. Like Sloan and I, we played kegs a few
Yeah.
times in our band together. So it's like that was just one of the staples of.
And a great
Oz.
grilled cheese.
So
Great
I heard
grilled
they do like really
cheese.
good catfish.
They had great, like a great kitchen up in there.
wings,
Yeah, wings
Pizza
were
was good. The
pizzas,
burgers were good, too.
burgers.
The burgers, I think they actually got, like Nashville Scene or something like that, gave them props on that.
He
Oh,
was
last
actually
night.
burger.
he was actually trying to get it again for this year. I saw him post it, but I was like, well, you're not here anymore. Why are you trying to get us to vote for your burger and you're not here? I love you, Todd, but
Oh.
open Twin Kegs back and I'll vote for your burger, motherfucker.
right.
Yeah, he's in that situation where he's trying to get. If he really wants another Twin Kegs, and I love you, Todd. If you're watching, just let you know I love you. But he's going to have to go outside of Davidson County because
think so?
Davidson
Yeah.
County real estate has gotten insane.
Well, that is true. And then it's also kind of hard to, like, I remember going to the Twin Kegs and, like, buying, like, 3 PBRs and walking out paying, like, $6.50 and be like, well, how
Same
is...
thing with like champagne and wine and stuff.
Yeah, so it was just
Always
like...
stocked. Like,
Yeah, so it's like
$6, $7.
you can drink pretty cheap. So he was really kind of keeping it real for the people who were there. And for a while, I didn't know if he was like giving me like continuing to like I knew he recognized me, but it's like I didn't know if he was like giving me like an artist price and then like everybody else because it was like how are you gonna go somewhere and drink for $6 to $10 And how's he going to make any money? So I always kind of figured maybe he was like a musician price. Like, he recognized me. I'm walking in. It's like, I'll give him a $2 PBR or something like that. It's really weird.
$2 PBRs.
It wasn't even $2, like $1.63 or some shit.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Go to Santa's
Clark-
Pub and do like a $2 PBR.
Clarksville was like 150 at some places.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to be
Wow.
able to, like, if I'm going out somewhere, like, I don't have to have top shelf of anything. I mean, I'm not Mr. Moneybags. I'm not rolling.
Yeah.
Like, you got PBRs for $2. I'm good with that. I don't need the
Hell yeah.
Modelo. It'd be nice, but I mean, I don't need it.
That's fair.
I would take a Modelo though. I love Modelo.
So I've, like, when it comes to, like, Mexican beers, man, like Dos Equis.
Dos Equis is good.
I like
love
cerveza. personally.
Tecate is the Mexican PBR. Like,
Yeah.
I can't get down with it. It's like, so, like, I don't like beer. Like, I don't like the taste of beer. I don't like the smell of beer, right?
interesting. I don't like it the
beer.
next morning. Like if someone had spilt the beer.
Sure.
And then you wake up
Oh,
and you smell
dude,
that.
like cleaning the garage out the next day, like Sunday morning, coming in the garage and cleaning it out and smelling that stale beer is horrible.
Mixed with some cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But a cold Dos Equis with a meal is, oh my God, going to like a Mexican restaurant and having like fajitas or something and like a cold fucking Dos Equis with a lime. Like, I love this is the only beer I love the taste of, even without the lime, but with the lime, it's just a next level shit. It's like a Dos Equis, just cold as fuck, man, on a hot day.
Yeah.
Dude.
Refreshing. Something about Mexican beers are like refreshing.
That is true.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know, like Corona to me is like watery, but I hear that's more of a Mexican thing or a Texican thing. It's not really Mexican.
Yeah.
It's Texican. But I hear like a lot of those are like Modelo is more of Texican. They come from like San Antonio and shit. I could be wrong. I'm talking at my ass, I'm sure, but I'm pretty sure Corona is Texan. But like actually, Dos Equis was made to commemorate their bicentennial. It was a German beer meister that was living in Mexico, and he created this beer specifically for this event, and it's been like just ever since then. And ever since I had it, I fell in love with it. I was just like, oh my God, it was just one of the best beers ever. And you see. Like, I remember Ozzy Osbourne talking about, like, he would see his dad drinking and think that this beer must be, like, the greatest thing to heaven and everything. Must be, like, the nectar of the gods. And then he finally had his first drink when he was a kid. And he was like, what the fuck is this? It's like one of those moments where, something that people, like, really kind of put so much into and you think it's, like, the greatest thing in the world. But when you actually taste it, and that was kind of like with me with, like, beer. It was just like, oh, my God, who the fuck would drink beer? Like, why the fuck?
Some of them are delicious, but no, I get that. I'm like the exact opposite. I knew it was shit because my dad and his friend were drinking like Mad Dog.
Oh.
And that shit's terrible.
Mad Dog, dude, like, I think that's a rite of passage. Like, high school, 9th grade.
They let me have a sip back in the day. I was probably like, I don't know, 9 or something. I was like, what's that?
Well, the great thing about, which I'm not advocating, like, underage drinking, but, like, it was Kool-Aid. Like, it tastes like Kool-Aid, but it had, like, this, you could tell there was alcohol in it, but it wasn't, like, strong. You didn't go,
Oh, like a Bartleby Jam?
Yeah, but, like, you could take, like, a bottle of fucking Mad Dog 2020, and you can down it. Like, it wasn't like that, but, like, you could drink 2 or 3 of them and be lit.
I do remember, like, I used to play beer pong, and I learned with Steel Reserve.
All right, so that's actually,
That's rough.
Steel Reserve actually isn't bad. Like,
I think I may have drank that once before.
And I do remember my best friend in high school and I, we were drinking Milwaukee's Best. And
The beast.
someone took a picture of us shotgunning one, and my dad found the picture. He's like, I'm not even mad that you're shotgunning a beer underage. Like, I'm mad that it's Milwaukee's Best.
Oh wow.
I was like, Dad, you should have came to the party. Like,
Dad's a beer snob.
I remember my dad drinking Milwaukee's Best and me being just young kid and just an upstart and going like, why don't I just go to pee in a can? That's just pretty much the same thing right there.
Well, it was the cheapest beer. Like
It was.
If it was you and a couple of buddies and a Saturday night, the very first thing you guys are doing are pulling your money together to get a couple of fucking cases of fucking the Beast. And we would get popped sometimes, and this is late 80s. It's about 89, and they were really hardcore karting in Metro Davidson County. They were really popping a lot of places. And I was talked earlier that I was a makeup artist. I was into like filmmaking and stuff like that. I was talking about like the Trump thing. So what I would do is we all had long hair. So what I would do is I would take a lock, turn this way. I would take a lock out of the back of your hair, cut that off, and then cut it up, and I would make a mustache on it. So every time that we went to go get beer, someone had to donate a lock of their hair, to the point where I would put it on them, and it was their turn to go into, and they would go in, buy the beer, and walk out with this perfect fucking mustache. And the whole night they're partying with the fucking perfect mustache.
You're like, I'm gonna keep this on.
No, you do, yeah. It was a right fucking passage. It was me, and I would cut it up, and there's this shit called spirit gum, which is pretty much you would.
I remember that. Yes.
And then pretty much I would build it up in layers, going up towards your nose. And then once I got all the fucking hair on there, I would comb it out, cut it up, shave it, and you had this perfect, realistic mustache because it was your real fucking hair. And what got me into that, and we did this all the time, getting beer. It was like the only way that we could like not be carded. When I was 7 years old and we moved to Nashville, we had these neighbors, and I always got shit from living next to them because they were like gay. And back in 1980, and being gay, like and open about it, that was a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I was like, these guys are the coolest motherfuckers. One of them were into electronics, so he had like the Atari and all this other crazy shit, which was great. But the other guy, he was into makeup. He wasn't into like special effects. He worked on like TV shows. But I was 7 years old with my blonde bowl cut, and he put this blonde mustache on me that looked so realistic. And I remember just kind of strutting around the apartment complex, with my mustache looking like, Magnum PI and shit, man. And it was the greatest thing, and that got me into filmmaking, man.
So I got to, since you're somewhat of a native Nashvilleian, did you get the Spirit Gummit performance costume? Thank you! Somebody remembers that.
The what?
It was a place in Nashville right across from NES.
Right. Well, they
And
moved
this is
to
old people
Thompson Lane, but since you actually remember the old NES location, that goes way back.
Way back.
Yeah.
And that was the place where you bought, like, I remember being in there, and news reporters would come in and go, like, I need some costume jewelry because I'm on doing this thing, for the CMAs or something like that.
Big with drag queens.
Oh yes, big that as well.
Anybody making
And like
their
theater performances, right?
Oh yeah, they were
like-
the costume place in
Kind of like a warehouse,
Nashville.
but like a homey warehouse.
not
Not that
not
one?
the original location.
Not the original, that might be the second one.
Thompson Lane location was.
Yeah.
But I remember showing an interest. Tom Savini was like my big. If you don't know who Tom Savini is, big makeup artist back in the day, and he was like my fan and my idol, my influence. My mother took me to performance, and like I walked in and just looked around. I was like, oh my god! And she pretty much let me have kind of carte blanche or whatever I wanted. And it was like I was getting mortician's wax, spirit gums. I was just like, she just kind of let me have at it at this place, and I fell in love with it. And I was always at performance, and it was being at performance and learning special effects and stuff like that. Some of the things that we would do, like me and my friends, we would be out like at Harding Mall that used to be over here.
I remember
And then
that.
We would like break out into like fake fights and everything. Next thing there would be fake blood everywhere, and it was just a great time to be a kid and to be able to get away with shit, but also the fact that you can actually do things like that. You can't get away with shit like that at all now. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
it's so
generation
different now.
Because we have like nostalgia for a time that we almost were in.
Yeah.
How old are you?
One that we were at the
34.
very end.
Okay, so
of.
are you a millennial or
Exactly.
I guess millennial would be the
Yeah.
term.
How old are you, Nick?
I'm 31.
Gotcha.
millennial.
Sure, we're all right in the
millennial.
same way.
All right.
Yeah, we're the same age
Yeah.
basically.
It's like we were nostalgic for a time that we never even experienced.
Yeah, cause I like going to the mall and hanging out. Like that was the
We
thing
still did
only
that.
for like
Movies
middle
are-
school and high school.
Right.
and-
So
Movies
you
every
guys
Friday,
actually lost the social
Blockbuster.
aspect
Yeah.
of
Human,
living.
like human interaction,
Well,
like daily
yeah.
human interaction.
social media all came out like my Facebook That was like
2006 was
yeah.
YouTube.
I was
And we had MySpace.
I was like a freshman in high
Even
school.
before
Yeah.
MySpace, it was LiveJournal or Zanga or
Yeah,
it's
Zanga,
like
that anime
Friendster.
one.
Friendster.
Yeah.
Or even just like I remember way back, even before like AOL or AIM or anything like that, Chat City. It was just a little chat network. You'd go in, you make a screen name, and you just go.
So, my last girlfriend, was also young, and she would also pine for those days where like they would get their squad and go out and like her father. Actually, me and him went to high school, so she would hear those stories that he would tell her about us going out and raising hell and doing all these things. But we also lived in the 80s, and so at that time period, you could do those things. You can go and get lost, and it was also the construct of the family situation of single mothers, absent fathers, and the fact that we could go out and
As long as you're home by bedtime.
and sometimes not even like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes like that wasn't even
If
an
you home
issue.
by like as long as you're there in the morning when I wake up. Like, okay.
True.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It got to the point where like I could see where they were missing that social interaction as far as like, cause like I would tell her about stories about me and my friends, and like I had one group when I was in high school. There would be times that at any given time we would be 10 to 15 people deep of a group and going out and doing things. And she's in this aspect now where people really don't have physical friends, and they're doing things like on Discord where they're all getting together on Discord and having these group, or where people are talking now about like getting together and having a physical conversation or physical party where you get 10, 15 people together in a group now. But they all want to make sure that there's enough Wi-Fi that they all can get on the Wi-Fi so they can be on their phones. Why are you on your phone if you're going to be in a party with you and your peers, and then you're all going to be on your... Well, that's not a party. That's called a landline.
I have a mental rule for myself. Like, if I'm going to a location and I know it's going to be like an all-nighter kind of evening, I put my phone away. You put your phone, because it's like, I don't want to lose it. I don't want to contact anybody while fucked up. I don't know if maybe I'm going to be partaking in something throughout the evening.
But you also don't want to appear that you're disinterested in what's going on.
That too, and you're just like, I don't even want to worry about it. I don't want the extra weight on my person while I'm like bouncing
But you're
through
also
this
taking
area
the
or this
time
party.
to actually show up and attend, so why not be present?
Yeah, it's like anybody that I would be trying to contact, I'm like, yeah, here.
I'm sure that you probably feel the same way, but like when I see what's going on now, I do think that I didn't have to have or go through that shit. Like I couldn't imagine going to Starwood and going to a concert and then everybody doing this.
Yeah, I only
Or
went to
everybody
Starwood
doing
like
this.
Even
once.
now it's creepy. Or not
Do you
creepy,
know-
like,
My
okay,
life.
so when I'm at a concert, I'll be like, okay, one video, and it's not my favorite
A
song.
photo.
It's not my favorite song. I'm gonna
Sure.
choose it from like a song from the B-side that like I kind of know and it's fine, and like maybe other people would recognize.
But you're recording the
That's what I'll
the
post.
concert for your fucking MySpace account or your fucking
or my
YouTube
story,
account.
whatever the hell. But it's like, but that's it. That's it. You're gonna just one video. The rest of it's for me, especially my favorite song. Fuck all y'all. I'm gonna listen to my favorite song alone,
Yeah.
kind of like how I envisioned when I was in my room alone listening to it. So it's.
That's true.
Yeah, it's very different, and especially now that everything's being recorded, like you don't know what's going. I mean, just not even like going into a business or something, but everyone's recording it. Like, so last Friday I got off work and I was very tired, but I was also very high. I was trying the THCP shit, so I was very high. I try to work in the dosage of trying to dial it in, and it's been taking a while. I've got it dialed in now about how much I can do, but still it's very high. And I went to Walmart after work, and I was just trying to pick up a few things. And there was I went to the frozen food aisle to pick up a couple of frozen pizzas, and there was these kids that were dancing in the middle of the aisle. And I hate to say that, but the very first thing I was thinking was like, oh, they're just, being kids, and they were black kids. So I was like, oh, they're just being black kids, just dancing in the aisle. And I wasn't really thinking much of it. So I'm like shopping in between them and everything. And then when I got on the other side, when I realized they were recording their music video. So I'm like, oh shit, I just fucking bombed their music video. And
Or
then
did you make it better? Because sometimes.
Or
So
make it better.
So they're like,
Sometimes.
as I'm sitting there shopping, and they're watching it back, and they're like, "Oh, look at that motherfucker!" And then they're like getting off on it, and like, "God damn it, I'm for sure gonna be in their fucking video now." So if you see a video, there's a couple of dudes and they're dancing in a Walmart frozen food aisle. That's me.
That's you walking through there.
Why is it always the frozen food aisle?
I think it's the widest aisle.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's
And if
Yeah,
you're moving
that makes
and you're
sense.
sweating, it's probably a cooler aisle. Keep the temperature down,
That's
maybe.
Smart.
We always
Okay.
look sad when we're putting our meal in the oven.
Yeah. I thought it was funny, but like, just like anything now, like, dude, like I go walk my dog at the park at the Parthenon. I'm always photo bombing someone making their video.
Trying to do something.
Like they're dancing. Like this one little Asian chick was doing her Joker dance on the steps, and I came around the pillars and didn't realize it, and so I was right there in the middle of her Joker dance. She's doing the whole thing, and I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry, my
shit.
bad. Me and Boris.
That's always
That's
a
kinda
silly
cute.
interruption.
Yeah, right.
But at the same time, you have to expect that when you're out in public,
Kind of
shooting a public
public.
stuff, you know?
Should,
You can't be mad
exactly.
with the public
You
if
can't be
they're
mad at the public
doing
that they're
the-
there and stuff. You know. Don't know if you're upset that you're in the video in the fast.
Oh no, I actually think it's funny. I'm actually kind of hoping that I do see it, because dude, I was lit.
That's probably why you walked through there. Because if you weren't high, you may have stopped.
Yeah, it was like right before I got out of my car to go in, I was like hotboxed. I hit like 2 and TCHP, man, like, or THCP. You don't. That's not something to abuse. So like the fact that like I hit it a couple of really good times before going in, it was a mistake. It's like you just have blinders on,
I can
man.
only do a gas station if I get high. I can't do a bigger store than that.
Dude, it's just.
I
Like,
get too tempted. I want to eat everything. I'll end up spending $300 at
Or
the
like
grocery
sometimes
store.
you're just in the home goods section, just touching stuff.
Yeah.
I can see somebody doing that shit.
It's me.
Yeah.
That's silly. I haven't had to interrupt a TikTok video in the grocery store before. That's
Your
not-
own or somebody else's?
Neither. I haven't had to deal with either of those.
I wonder
At the
how many
store.
I've been in. Because like Printer's Alley gets a lot. My favorite thing is when people ask me to take pictures of them in Printer's Alley, because like I know what they want. I know what the angle they're trying to get.
Oh, okay.
Which
Oh, yeah.
is?
Oh, because you want like the old bar signs up top.
Oh, they want that souvenir picture.
Yeah, because like of all like the.
You know what the tourists are looking for.
Yes, yes, and it's like I always just like get happy when like I give the phone back to them and they have like options and they're like, oh, well, you got this angle and that angle. I'm like, I know.
So I was like, I guess that is a tourist thing. So I went to Amsterdam. I made sure that they're like, make sure you get the sign of the fucking coffee shop. Yeah.
Then I wasn't here. Who's gonna know that I was here?
You're right, exactly.
Might as well just go home right now.
That's something that you really can't do now, man. Like, I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it, but like, going to Amsterdam back in the day used to be a rite of passage because that was like the one place you can go get stoned legal, pseudo legally. Like it's tolerated. It's not legal. It's tolerated. But like now that you have like the whole West Coast essentially in Midwest, you know, everything's legalized.
It's
Like there's
all
no
legal,
real
yeah.
reason to go to Amsterdam unless like you're a historical buff.
Absinthe.
Well, they have that legal here now.
It-
Like they
Not the
legalized.
real one.
No, they did.
Oh.
Like 15 years ago, they legalized the real stuff with the wormwood. 'Cause
Where?
yeah, anywhere. Go to any. There's that big liquor store in Hickory Hollow. That's where I would get it from. Now, here's the thing, though. For the real stuff, it's like $80 to $120 a bottle.
Oh, jeez.
But make sure that you get the one that comes with the spoon for the sugar cubes.
Y'all ever hear of Buckfast?
No.
What is this?
So it's illegal everywhere except for Scotland and Ireland, and even now I think it's illegal in Ireland. But when I was in Ireland, me and my friends, we took that to a hostel, and that shit, it's tonic wine, and it's
In
what,
Ireland?
and it's what the monks use to talk to God.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
And you did this?
We did
In a
this.
hostel?
And
Did you?
essentially, in a hostel.
In a hostel.
hostel.
Dog.
Did you talk to God?
I did. Okay, so essentially half the group threw up.
Yeah.
And the other half, like, definitely had
the experience.
Yeah.
So like an ayahuasca type thing.
No,
Right,
it's
no.
different. All right, so are you? I don't want to. Okay, so here's my take on.
I know you can. There's like certain churches that allow ayahuasca, and it's like legal in certain states.
Kentucky. There's a
Interesting.
place
In
in Kentucky.
Kentucky,
right now,
there
there's
is-
a guy who does it. Now, here's the thing
Into it.
about anywhere that you go in and do that. Make sure that you read up on it because you really don't want to put your safety and security in the palms of somebody else. There has been instances. If you have a seizure disorder, you shouldn't be doing ayahuasca, and that's on you. But also, shit happens. But so just be careful with that. But as far as like absinthe goes, absinthe is different. Like it's alcohol, but it's like. Have you ever? Oh, so you've done absinthe, right? No. Have you ever done absinthe?
No.
Okay, and you don't drink anymore, so.
I did absinthe before, but it was like
I'm gonna
the
get a bottle for
store-bought
our.
stuff.
I'm getting a bottle for
And
our
I was
Halloween
like
show.
a teenager. Like I wasn't even like old enough to drink when I did it.
Okay, so you probably got it maybe closer to when it originally got re-established as being legal. So like the first year that they re-legalized it, we went ahead and got it. And it was like an $85, $90 bottle, and we were having a Halloween party, and so we all did 2 shots. And I was in a band called Horror Magnet at the time, and
Blood Cricket and Horror Man.
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
And I was playing drums, and so I did the 2 shots, and we're playing and everything, me and a guitar player and a bass player. And the whole time I'm back there, it's like all of a sudden, like I was like 2 steps ahead of myself. Like I actually, and I'm not like a trained drummer. I'm not like, like I'm a bass player, but I drum for fun, and I drum with my own stuff and everything. But here, all of a sudden, I was getting it. I was like, oh, I can do this, and I can. All of a sudden, like it clicked, and in the zone, like the term that they say that you were in the zone or in the
Yeah.
pocket, right? So that was totally. And then we got through. We played for about 20 minutes. And we stopped playing, and then, like, this is back when I had a house that was about 2 stories, and I'm looking around, and, like, it was just me and the band, and, like, everyone else was gone. My wife comes out, and she's laughing, giggling, and I was like, what's going on? She was like, well, there's about 6 people passed out in the bedroom, and there's about 10 people passed out in the garage, and I was like, what? So I walk into my bedroom, and literally, there are just people, just 2 shots of this absinthe, and they are just laid out, just gone. And I was like, I checked into the people that were in the garage. The people in the garage are the ones that were getting sick. 2 shots. They were puking their fucking balls off, man. It was like triage.
What happened? Yeah, there was one that was like one of my friends was violently ill.
Yeah.
Violently ill.
And I think everybody has their own reaction to absinthe. But for me, I would say that it was clarity. Because when I was back there and I was drumming, it's like when I'm playing normally, I don't have a thought of it. I'm just feeling it, right? And it doesn't matter what instrument, whether I'm playing drums or I'm playing bass. It's all about feel, and I can kind of like meld into it, and I'm not having to think at all. I can really just feel it, and just it's hard to explain. But with the clarity of the absinthe, it was all up here. I wasn't feeling it as much as like I was knowing it. Like I was like, oh, I can do this, and then I do it, and then oh, I can do that, and then I do it, and it's just like this whole clarity of being like 2 steps ahead of what I was doing. And then a lot of people, they do that, and they're like, they get intoxicated, and then they like listen back to whatever they were doing later, and they're like, oh no, you were just intoxicated.
Yeah, you were just drunk.
You were
dude.
just fucked up. But I would listen back and be like mind blowing because it was like, oh my God, that's how I fucking heard it. Yeah, and it's just like so. Every drug has its purpose, and I think with absinthe, the reason why it was so popular with creatives back in the day is because it does help with your creativity to the point where it kind of like takes you out of your husk and it sets you to the side and lets you expand all the different possibilities rather than just you and your perspective. Like it literally just like I took you out. And they're like, oh, well, these are all the different things that you can do, Nick, and that you've never seen before. So why don't you try this? And so then it pops you back in, and now you're like, oh, I can do this. And holy shit, I can do this too. It's really, really fucking different. And like, I know I won't advocate for you to drink because I know that you're sober, but There is something about absinthe. Yeah, it really is. Acid, man, and me, we used to get along. Me and Acid don't get along anymore.
Really?
No, Acid kicked my ass. Of course, I fucked up. I have a problem with excess. So when people say, "Hey, only do like a half of something," I'm like, you know what? I could just do a half of it, or I could just do it all, right? Yeah.
You know,
So
it's not like I'm saving this for next week.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, let me do it now.
Thank you very much. So I was given 3 hits of acid, and I decided to take 2 hits of them. But I wasn't told that they were triple dipped, but I was told to only take half of one. And I'm just like, well, why only take half of one?
It
So
should have given you the reason.
Sure.
Like, hey,
And I'm sure it probably did, but I'm high all the time. So I take one, and then like as I'm eating it and everything, like the paper seems thick to me, and I'm just like, well, it doesn't seem real. Now, the reality of it is if it's the paper sticker, that means it holds more acid. But in my head, for some reason, when I was eating the acid, I was like, I think this is fake, so I'm going to take another hit and do another hit of acid. So now I'm taking the total equivalent of 6 hits of acid, and like, it hit me so fast. Like, usually you have time to prepare something. Like, I take it, and I'm standing before my CD collection, and I'm like, picking out CDs, and all of a sudden it's like starting to hit and come on, and
you should already have that playlist going.
Yeah!
You should have already your
All of
5
a
discs
sudden-
picked out already on shuffle.
I didn't even grab 5 discs. I'm like grabbing this. The next thing I have like 8 hours of music. I'm taking into the living room, and I'm couch locked before I even get the CDs into the CD player. Like the CDs are on the disc, and now I'm just trying to get through a streaming service so I can listen to something. Like I couldn't even get the physical disc into the machine. Yeah, I was tripping hard. I've never been couch locked like that on acid.
I remember the first time I did acid, they just placed it on my tongue, and I thought it was 1, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, that's 2. I'm like, alright. I'm in a quarry. It's alright.
Quarries are great places to do drugs.
Yeah, there's like a little small festival going on. A small low-key festival was going on. We had camping. We were set up. There was a couple like food trucks. Like we were okay. And I was just like, okay, right on. There's a little beach. It was chill.
That's great.
Yeah. I like a good little introductory into drugs and
Psychedelics.
stuff. Yeah, psychedelics.
Yeah.
Last time I did acid, I think I talked about this on the last time, where like you put it into some champagne.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you
I
did.
did that again a couple weeks back. I went to go see Glass Animals over at Bridgestone.
Okay.
That was nice.
All right.
Very sick.
Weren't you telling me about Glass Animals?
I don't know. Maybe I've listened to a few of their songs. I can't think of any
They're good.
off the top of my head, but they're fun. They're trippy for
Mhm.
sure. So like doing a psychoactive drug like that, psychedelic drug, is like great.
What was even fun is like I guess not a whole lot of people went to or attended that show. Like there was a good amount of people there, but the original tickets that we had, we got to be moved up. So
Very nice.
closer to the stage. That was nice.
That's
Alright.
sick. So you got a better view, you know. Very cool.
I love going to shows. I love playing shows. I love just going.
Shows are fun.
Just showing
Theater.
up. Yeah. And it's I think it's going to be really like a lost art because a lot of people just aren't doing things anymore. You know. And
Ever been to a show where you thought it's gonna like ignite your soul, but then it's just like
Yes.
didn't happen,
Yeah.
and you're just like, am I a few years too late maybe? Because like I went to go see the Front Bottoms, that wasn't that great. But I don't know if it was just, I think it was just me probably. Same thing with AJJ. And I'm like, I love that band. And I'm like, I would just be listening. I'll still listen to them even like after the fact, and it still kind of hits when I'm listening to it alone. But like at the show itself, I'm like, what happened?
Or could it be the fact that they've been doing it for so long, they're just going through the motions?
No.
Or
bad. So when
No,
a
that's-
band gets lazy and they just get up to Faith No More did that
Not
bullshit.
lazy,
Oh.
not lazy at all, because like still other people around me were actively into it. It was just me in the back being like, why why don't I feel it the way that I feel it when I'm listening to it alone right now? And that's been a newer thing within these past couple of years where like shows for me are like a hit and a miss. And I'm like, is that just something that you actively get older with? Because like, would you rather just be listening to it alone?
but it can be what you said as far as like where they just go through the motions.
Now, Pixies kind of had that.
Oh,
So
really?
Pixies, that's like my #1 favorite band. Fucking love them. I've seen them like 4 times. before and after Kim Deal had died, like R.I.P. So the first time I had seen them, it was back at the Ryman. Great show, phenomenal. Second time was like at a festival, phenomenal. Saw them at Ascend when they were openers for Weezer, which I thought was disrespectful, but I understood because Weezer was like a little bit more commercial, and Pixies at the time were like not as known anymore, and they did kind of sound tired, but what was cool about that was post Kim Deal dying, so that was a factor. But also seeing them kind of just lackadaisical kind of going through the shit. But it was kind of interesting because I have an EP from them from when they started in the 80s, and there's this one song called I've Been Tired, and I had not heard that in the first couple times that I heard them. They played it at that show, and it was so cool because it sounded the same as what they did in the 80s, like almost like you didn't really quite find your sound. It's like the beginning and the end of like what that song means.
Kind of bookends it.
Yeah, you're just like, and so that's what kind of like made that performance pivotal for me. I was like, that's beautiful. Saw them again when they closed, as rightfully so. Modest Mouse opened up for them, but I think it's because
Very
90s
sick.
are going through a revival. So now they're kind of like popular again because they're getting referenced in all these movies and TV shows.
Sure.
And that was great. I forget who replaced Kim Deal, but she did great. They closed out with "Where Is My Mind," and she sounded like a beautiful whale at the end, like that sound that's like
Oh yeah.
that ooh, that thing
Right.
back and forth, and she was doing it back and forth with the audience.
All right.
I cried. It was great.
Okay.
Like Kim Deal approved.
It's the only song I really know of them. I saw Jane's Addiction was a couple of years ago at the Bridgestone, and I'd never seen them before, so it was really good to see them. And like Dave Navarro wasn't there, but they still threw down and did like I was really worried that wasn't going to be a great show. And man, like they were heavily intoxicated, but it was great. It was like everything I needed from Jane's Addiction, except for the fact that Dave Navarro wasn't there. But it was just so great, and they were so on point because you knew that they were intoxicated. You could tell that they were intoxicated, but it was so on point. Like the whole experience, like God damn it, I just wish I was closer. Yeah, I just wish I was closer.
Yeah, I get in trouble sometimes with my friends because sometimes I'll just like inch my way on through a performance.
Starwood is the best place for that, man.
Yeah, and like,
There you go.
And like they can't keep up, so I'm just kind of like, because I'm just like
You're going.
sidestepping. Like wherever I see a space, I'm like, yes.
Exit in,
Yes.
the same way.
Oh yes.
Yeah, exit in is the same way.
Did they make that place a national landmark?
They need to. I know that they.
I know they were working on that at one point.
Management.
Well, they
I
were
don't know.
trying to save it because it was going to get torn down a couple of times. It's still there now. They've still got bands booked to
still
I
do
play.
saw the bar
shows,
side
yeah.
there.
Did
That
you?
was a great show.
Last show I saw there was fucking Max Sabbath. That one.
There you go.
And that fucking Transformers band. That was weird. But
That so needs to be a landmark. It really does.
It needs
It
to be.
does.
They are opening. Was it the Gold Nugget or Gold Rush? Gold Rush. That's right across the street from it. There was a bar that was like if you went to go see a show at the Exit Inn.
You want to go to a bar after?
Or before, like you would hang out at the Gold Rush before, like an hour before. You get some food, you have a couple of drinks, and then once people started to line up, then you would go out there and stand in line.
That's what I appreciate about Brooklyn Bowl. That's a great
Yeah,
venue.
that one
And they
is
have
good.
that restaurant that's kind of next to it or like within the same building.
All right,
That's good. And it's a good stage too. Saw Offspring there.
all right.
And then most recently, Hiatus Coyote.
Yeah.
I've seen a few shows at the Brooklyn Bowl. It's pretty sick. I
Never
like
been
it.
there.
The only thing is that I never know with each show how much bowling is gonna happen.
Oh, it's the actual
they
bowling
stop.
place.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
bowling alleys there, but it's like they stop kind of like after the first few songs, and you can see the people. You
lot
turn
of
around and you
times,
see the
yeah.
people, and they're just looking. And they're just chilling.
There's another one, the East Side Bowl. They're a similar concept venue where it's like there's a bowling alley and a diner and a music venue to it, but like each area is more sectioned off better.
Yeah.
Like
They had comedy there for a while.
They did have comedy there for a while, but it wasn't on the big stage in the actual showroom. It was on their little lounge floor.
Yeah.
And they usually have like jazz bands that play in there, like during the day and the evenings and everything, if it's not comedy.
I just remember the one time I went, the sound was so horrible.
I bet it was.
Wasn't that great for comedy, at least.
Yeah, I mean, doing it on that little, where it is, like in that open floor plan and everything, there's no real stage, and it's like not, just wouldn't feel professional, you know?
I see that a lot. Like, sometimes I'll go into a venue of like where you would think the comedy's being set up, and then no, you in the corner somewhere. You
like
in the
Love
back
Exile
room
was
somewhere.
like that.
Yes.
Where like people, for a long time, people wanted to be on the
pallet,
outside
just
stage.
On a pallet?
It's a pallet.
Yeah,
It was a pallet.
There
Finally,
were times.
they got rid of the pallet, and you're like, okay,
Yes.
I feel a little bit more dignified.
There was,
That was
a
the
little
stage?
while
Yes.
where we had a pallet in the
brewery
back
area.
room.
Not even like a designated bar area to hang out. It's like, look, chairs, like little flip chairs.
Yeah, like I would have to set that up every time too. It was a lot
And
of
like one of those
work.
little room divider things as the back of the stage, which is the palette, which is I enjoyed back there. I went to a few shows in there. Like it was
right.
okay. It was okay.
Yeah.
Well, any opportunity to get up and do your craft.
But now they've actually built a stage back there.
Hell yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
It's too
Oh, wow.
They did build a stage back there. I think once Will took it over is when they opened up with the new stage. I want to
Nice.
say.
Because I haven't been back in a while.
Do the new stage.
Yeah, go on a Tuesday.
No,
To the new
Ah,
stage.
man, that would've been
To Love and
nightmares.
Exile, we
It's-
love you guys.
It's
I do.
hard for me to come on a
Probably on
Tuesdays because I have a restaurant gig that I do to like 7:30. So it's hard for me to get, and I don't always get out on time. So
It's on Thursdays. Or every other
Tuesdays.
No,
Now it's on Tuesdays.
every Tuesday. I gave that mic over to Gunderson with
No,
the remodel they had going on and everything at Love and Exile because they were redoing the back, and when they wanted to redo it, they wanted to change days, and I didn't really want to change days.
well, then you also have to compete with the East Room.
Yeah, well, and that was a tough one to decide too. Was like what time, right? Because
What time is that Tuesday, Mike? I'd love an XL.
they're doing it at 6 o'clock. They made it the early mic.
early.
Gotcha.
This room starts at like
Right.
8 or 9.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to
I
have
like-
your
You got to be signed. Yeah, you got to be signed up by 8.
By 8.
And the show starts at 8:30.
right.
I don't know why. Can't place it. I have no reason for it.
Just getting there early enough.
Not even that. Not even that. It's like there's an energy there.
Yeah,
Like, and I can't
sometimes.
even really
I've- I've heard that before.
About
where it's-
the-
but
The
I like-
energy
but I
as
like
far as the.
watching it. I like being like sitting there and like watching it all. Like it's great. But like there's been a
Yes.
couple times where I have signed up for it. It's just there's like a shift. a shift.
It's I've heard comedians talk about it as just very depressing, low energy, just a hard room to do.
Starting off or all the time?
all the time.
all the time. It can
All the
be-
time.
It can certainly be an intimidating.
It can.
Because a lot of your peers are just there, you know,
and you
watching.
see people lose their
and
shit up in there
Yeah.
on stage.
You do. You
More
do.
than you would anywhere else. I was very surprised. I don't know the guy, so like, stop me if I'm being a cunt. But like, Rob Wentz like won the best
Yes.
basketball
Yeah,
comment. The only time I've ever seen that man perform is at the East Room, and he's always screaming. So I'm like, I do
Well,
not know.
that's part of
Like
his
screaming.
act,
Oh,
actually.
Like
that's what I was
he's-
about to ask. Was it part of his act or was he losing his
I don't think
shit?
it's part of the. I don't think it was part of the act.
No. He gets like fired up. His whole thing is to try to get everybody fired up inside of that place.
But like, there hasn't been like another tone of like funniness to it. Like almost as if like you're making the crowd nervous to laugh. Like it's like you. No, it's like you. And again, I do not know the guy. If he's watching, I'm sorry. You redhead is cute. Like you.
I'm sorry.
But
We do love Rob Witz. I
We
saw
do love him.
last night at the Kraken
I have
game.
I haven't seen
The
him like
Preds
on a
game.
showcase before. I've only ever seen him there So I don't know if it's just because it is open mic and he doesn't give a fuck and he's just yelling, or. I don't know.
Well, part like I've seen him a lot. And, like a lot of like the yelling and screaming. Part of that is like his act. I think it just depends on his mood. Like sometimes it's just like yelling,
if I see him booked
almost
on
stream of consciousness, but it is bits too. You know.
I was actually on the first round with him at National's Funniest Comic.
There you go.
We were on the same show.
How
he
was
won.
that show?
He won, and he deserved to win.
What? Where was that one at?
When I watched him on National's Funniest Comic, that first round that I was at, he deserved to win.
Good.
And then let's say there was some nepotism in there. There were some people who were on, I don't want to say anything to burn bridges, but there were some people who were involved with the show that worked with some of the venue that were on. It's like they weren't funny, and a lot of the other comics came to me and they were like, "Yeah, that was nepotism right there. They were not funny, but they somehow got the votes
Just
to
knew
win."
the right
And they
person.
didn't have a bunch of people there. It was like them and one other person, and they won the competition. They were one of the 3 place winners, and we were like, no. Not the other person who won was Teresa Morris, and I was like, yeah, Teresa should have won. She did a great job.
Nick Bush?
Yes.
Yeah, I like her. I like
Yes,
her.
she did a great job.
Very sweet.
She deserved to win, and then the other person we were like, no, that was nepotism right
She
there.
has that musical theater energy, and I'm like,
Yes.
I love
Yes, she does have great energy whenever she's around. Man, I forgot all about that contest because I never signed up for it. I was like, this is something. I felt like it was going to be a cash grab type thing to try to get.
Yeah.
You know.
I kind of treated it like when I've done 5Ks before, and I try to keep it like you're running a 5K. You don't do it because you think you're going to win. You just want to run well and finish well.
Right. What I heard was do it for a video. Like if you ever want to record yourself doing a bit or doing your set, those kind of competition shows are the best time to do it because those are like always a guaranteed packed house. People are laughing.
Yeah.
So it's like record it. Like even like don't even have winning in your mindset, just have recording in your mindset.
Do you guys not record every set?
Not every set.
Not every set, but I do. Depends on the.
Like I can't remember to bring the tripod with me. So usually like if a friend is there, I'll be like, yo, can you record me?
I got a couple of those phone tripods. I just never carry them with me.
My tripod is always in my briefcase, so when I normally have my briefcase with me, my tripod is there. It depends on the set. Like I was in Gatlinburg last Friday,
Nice.
and I definitely recorded that set. I was doing a comedy competition up in Gatlinburg,
Really?
just because I knew I wasn't going to win, but I knew I was just trying to finish well, and I thought I finished really well. A lot of comics came to me and said, "I really loved your set." So that was one of those things that I need to go back and look at the video and edit some of the stuff out and. Unfortunately, that wasn't all new stuff. That was all like old stuff that I did. But it was a great set, a great experience.
But you had good production value as far as the location.
Well, yeah, that and in the fact that you had
where
the
was it
logo.
at?
It
What
was
was the
Jersey. Oh shoot, what is it called? Jersey. Oh, I'll have to look. It was a comedy club up in Gatlinburg, a new comedy club right off the strip.
Really?
In
Where you have to go
Gatlinburg.
downstairs a little bit?
No,
No? Okay.
no, it wasn't that.
I didn't know they opened up a club there. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a great little club.
Because it's like Gatlinburg has like the little after hours areas that you just gotta.
Jersey Hustle Pizza
Yeah.
in Gatlinburg, and they have Jersey Hustle Comedy Club, and they did
Very cool.
they do an open mic every Thursday, and then they did a comedy show competition that I did up there last Friday, and it was a good experience. It was one of those things, you're looking for the good experience, you're looking to finish well, hopefully get noticed by them going up there, up there.
You just need the right pair of ears.
Yeah.
You don't need a whole lot of people listening, just like one
Well, it's like,
sometimes.
good friends with Drew Davis, and one of the things he said was like, he went up there and did the show, didn't win the competition they had up there, but the owner noticed him and said, yeah, can you want to come up for this show? And so that's kind of what you're hoping for as well, especially if you have a good set.
How do you feel about Drew Davis's meth problem?
Drew Davis's meth problem, he really needs to
does
get a
have a
handle
meth
on
problem.
it.
Yeah, he does.
Drew, we love you. But and we're here for you. This is our intervention for you right now.
You got to take care of yourself, buddy.
You really have to.
When you guys do an open mic, are you wanting like randos, or are you actually wanting your peers there? And the reason why I ask that, because I hear it differently. Like a lot of people just like want regular people there, but other people are wanting like their other comedians there because there's a difference in like.
I want people I'm aiming the joke towards to be there.
Okay, so I hear that. So you too?
Yes, exactly. Because who cares if a comedian laughs or not?
Right, but I also feel like there's like a lot of comedians, like it takes something like every comedian has like their real laugh and then their pity laugh,
When you
their
hear
golf
the
laugh.
ha, like that.
Yeah. But then when you actually hear like the gut laugh, like when you actually hear I'll
or
crack
when
a joke.
almost silent laughing.
Yeah. Like you can tell like when you've really hit them, and so like. I guess I would say like some guys that they're wanting to play to like other comedians, they're trying to hit that real laughter rather than your golf laughter.
You can tell when some people are catering to the other comedians in the scene of like what
Yeah.
it would take to make them laugh, and I'm like, that shouldn't be the point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have to agree 100%. And
They're trying to do what you're trying to do, which
Yeah.
is make other people laugh.
the good thing is about comedy, especially if you do well, nobody lies to you. In the fact that if you suck,
you're gonna know that you suck.
nobody's gonna come up to you. Oh, you did such a
But
good
then
job.
you actively know if you suck or not.
You do well. Hopefully, because
Well,
there are comedians. Let's be honest between you two guys, especially. There are comedians that like have sucked that you go like you don't know you suck.
But then those are the ones who also yell at the audience. Or they're just like, well, why didn't you think that was funny? Or like, well, that's funny because of X, Y, Z. Like they're trying to explain the joke.
Not always,
Instead
but
of
it
trying
was
to
just.
Yeah, not always, but also
There are comedians that suck, and
There's a lot of bad comedians that are out there, but that have great personalities, and they
Yes.
just seem to be getting by on their personality rather than their material. Like almost to the point, like so.
Oh yeah, if you can do crowd work,
Well, not
you
even
can get
that.
through it. Yeah.
Like
That's true.
here on this, like just here having people on the show here, they will realize that there's guys that come on there, and I'm not going to call anybody out, but they're working on their personality or their character more than they are their material. You know, they're trying to be something or someone.
And that's why I turned to comedy because I love being on stage. But like I was a theater major. But I never was good at acting, but I liked being on stage. And comedy is really the only way of being on stage, aside from music, when you're just yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't have to act
Well,
because
it's
you're saying your own words.
It's even like more on your own shoulders because, like say, if you're in a band, it's you and like say
You have to be
2, 3
on the
other
same
guys,
page as everybody
right?
else, yeah.
But when it's yourself, it's just you, and when you're taking the stage, it's just you, and all eyes are on you. It's not like it's like you and 3 other schmucks. It's just you.
That's like always a fascinating conversation I'll have with musicians where we're both like, I wish I could do what you do. It's like they think
That's true.
They think that this is hard, and I'm like, no, what y'all do is harder. I'm like, comedy is the laziest way of being on stage.
Isn't
It's
it though?
you and a
But it's
microphone.
great. You just hang out
Yeah.
there. I mean,
A
in terms of
musician
like
wouldn't-
bar to entry, it's very easy.
So as a musician, and as a musician for a while, and having comedian friends, I would say that as a musician, we have the backup of having like the drummer and
Someone
having
can
your
pick you
guitar
up if,
player.
Like, you mess up.
Or not even that, but you can even kind of hide within that, or you guys are up there as a group, so you have that group mentality. And then, like, there's a lot of musicians that I know that want to do stand-up, but when they think about it, then they're up there by themselves, and they don't have the other guys, and, like, there's nobody else that can kind of, like, pick up
Guide
the
them
slack
a little
or hide within the distortion or something. Like if you're in a band and you fuck up, it's probably not going to be noticed for the most part, but if you're standing there and you flub your line, so like when I did that 60 seconds the other week, I didn't have it prepared, so when I went up there, I flubbed every fucking line.
But like that's important. It's important to bomb.
Yeah.
It is so important too.
That's why it's like there have been times like I love Twin Cakes because that was my bombing place. I'd be drunk as fuck.
Me too.
Usually after a couple other mics that I did in the night that were good, you know, and then I get into Kegs and it's bad because like I'm just drunk and I'm talking off my ass.
Is it giving yourself permission to fail?
Giving yourself permission to fail. Like,
Thank you.
Exactly what it is.
That's right.
Yeah. You have to bomb. Just be comfortable with bombing. You have to be comfortable with just eyes on you that are motionless. And it's like, that's how you know you love it. It's like, because I'm going to do this.
And
then
you
I'm
just
gonna,
brush
and
it
I'm going to go to
off.
a show and I'm going to do great. It's like, it's important to bomb. And even while you are at a show, you should have a couple of shows that are shitty too. Because that's all part of it. Like
That's right.
same kind of mentality. Like I just recently started doing rock climbing and stuff. And part of the things that are important with that is like you have to just fall off the rock. Just to know that you're going to be caught.
To learn to fall.
Yeah, so essentially, when you're bombing on stage, you're learning to fall, and it's like it's whether or not like you're gonna get back up there, It's like fuck all these other people. It's for you. At the end of the day, it's for you, not for them. I mean, like they can relate to you.
Sure.
Essentially, like it's you talking. Yeah.
So that's our advice
Excuse
when you
me
go
while I
out.
just stuff
No, you're
my
fine.
face.
Go out and bomb and know it's okay if you bomb.
Yeah,
is,
we've
yeah,
all
yeah.
done it at times.
Yes.
I've
Oh my
so
gosh,
many
so
times.
many times.
Well, so
course.
I completely expect that if I'm going to go somewhere, the very first time I go up there, I'm going to bomb. I mean, the only reason why I got any laughter here, because this is my environment, of course I'm going to get some laughter here, but like, oh, well, hold on. We have Mr. Hello, sir. Hey. What's going on? Oh, we're on the podcast.
Is that somebody watching us right now calling
Yeah,
into the
okay.
show? And
That would be kind of cool. Like
That would.
Caller one, you're on the air.
All right.
that's where we need to put it on speakerphone and go. Just put it up to the mic.
Yeah. All right, brother.
This pizza's good.
No problem. You said it.
Papa John's got a real good crust.
Dude,
They got a real good
and when you
crust.
got the garlic all to yourself,
Yeah.
you're a fucking winner.
There you
You know
go.
what I mean?
And-
Unfortunately, my kids do not like Papa John's. They like Little Caesars.
Well, okay, listen.
Wow.
I just don't even ask. They just
We
that's what
just-
they
Crazy
like.
we
bread. I like
switched.
That's
crazy
wild.
bread.
We've done Little Caesars for the last 2 years, and Little Caesars jacked their price to $7.99.
So you might as well.
As
yeah.
the same price that Papa John's lowered their price to $7.99. And then you're not just relegated to the pepperoni or cheese. You can have any one topping.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Which, by the way, hey, for the Saturday show, get one with black olives.
All right.
An endorsement for Papa John's.
Black olives, pepperoni, and a cheese.
Well, when I was a kid, man, I remember like being like in junior high, and we would like go by like Blockbuster or some video store and rent like a whole bunch of movies, and then go by Little Caesars back when it was buy one get one free, and they would be like on the paper sheets. They'd be like on a cardboard platter with 2 pizzas, and they would slide them
Yes!
into a paper sock. Do you remember that? They would slide them into like this paper sock, and then like you get home and you slide it on out, and he's like, and it was like you order one pizza, and like, all right, well, what do you want on your second one? And you're like, well, all right. Yeah, it was
'Cause
great.
you got
man.
2.
Pizza. That's where pizza
Oh, yeah,
come
pizza.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And so like to me, like I remember in junior high, that was every Saturday. Like someone's house, you brought the most fucked up, deplorable movies that you could find.
Absolutely.
There was always
like sleepaway camp.
Sleepaway Camp, Faces of Death, Texas Chainsaw, like anything that you could find, and then like hopefully someone brought a joint.
Cube.
Yeah.
Did y'all watch the original Cube?
Oh, the original Cube. So someone turned me. I finally watched a couple of those probably about 10 years ago. Like the first Cube is okay, but after that, come on.
Well, the very first one is like before. It was kind of like when.
There you go,
Matrix was coming
Sean.
out,
Get one.
and
Eat
it
the
was kinda like-
pepperoni
First
with
digital.
Yeah,
No, I'm
like
not into the
interactive
pepperoni.
type stuff is new.
Yeah.
Whimsy.
I will straight up eat the pepperoni.
If it had
myself.
a better budget, like if someone like took the Cube and like made it like a Universal Studio type thing, I could see that. But like as low budget as it was, it didn't like work.
Kind of like when I watch low budget movies, and it's like they're not trying to be low budget. I just think about college people acting it out, and
Sure.
it becomes a lot better.
Speaking of low budget, has anybody seen the Terrifier movies?
No, but I've seen a lot of those memes and shit.
I haven't seen it
Are
either,
they?
but
So,
I would
like,
give it a list.
The first
It
Terrifier,
looks like a cult classic.
the first Terrifier movie, I really didn't
Doesn't
think
it
a
have like
lot
a
about.
clown or something in it?
Yeah,
Art
the
the
black
Clown.
and white clown.
So what sells these movies is the guy who plays Art the Clown. Like
Yeah.
you're watching this to see what he does next. Like his character is so enjoyable, even though he's doing the most horrendous things. It's so enjoyable to watch because he is so funny. And like the first movie sucked. Like the first Terrifier sucked. There was one good scene in it, pretty much, but like what sold that movie was the dude who played the clown. The second one is great. Like there's the bedroom scene. I won't spoil it for anybody, but there was a point where like once that scene happens, you're like you're caught off guard and you're not ready for it. And it's so relentless and it keeps going and it keeps going. You're like I'm into horror movies and like I almost needed a fucking break, right? And so like it's over and you think it's over. The mom walks in and it's not over by a long shot and you're like, what the fuck? And you'll never look at mashed potatoes the same again. And then the third one, the third one, which just come out, man, and I had the pleasure of watching it. And I'm just saying, man, like, I don't know.
Sounds like it could be like the first franchise that like gets better.
Every movie has gotten better in this franchise.
Really?
And as a matter of fact, like this movie that actually began, Art the Clown came from another movie, not the Terrifier movies, but they're called All Hallows Eve. So it's All Hallows Eve 1 and 2, where it was played by somebody else, but it had little bits thing. And this whole series was based on Art the Clown, where this guy was afraid of sitting in a bus alone and the clown walking in and just staring from him from like across the way. And this was how this all started.
Really?
But the third one had just come out like a couple of days ago, and this one got a theatrical release. The other ones didn't. And man, I mean, for a low budget movie, and like the whole time I'm sitting there like I want to watch it in the theater. I mean, it's low budget.
Has it been in theater? Or no, it's like it's been.
This one has been. This one
third
has
one
this
has been.
this one's been released in theaters.
That's kind of nice.
And-
Like
That
just
is
think
cool.
about it from like a filmmaker standpoint, where you're just like, okay, the first one wasn't in theaters, second one was in. Now we're in theaters.
Well, this
Like,
guy
now
actually
we're
was
in-
going to get a big budget,
Cha-ching.
and he didn't want to have to deal with the studios telling him how to make his movie, so he
And also, you can't get away with a lot of the things that you can get away
so
with.
he denied the studio money and just did it low budget again.
So cool.
Oh,
But it's
shit.
still, I mean, dude, like I watched it and I'm just like, dude, like standing ovation. Like I mean,
You're making me wanna
it's-
watch
it-
it.
it-
Like,
it-
okay.
so they're horrible, deplorable movies, but they were just
But I
so
like-
great.
Yeah, I like B flicks.
Okay.
Like,
But no, not in that
But like the
respect.
first one is kind of.
So not like Roger Corman.
So like bad and like the first one was bad in a way. It was just a bad movie, but good in a bad way, kind of like
Yeah,
Roger
that's a
Corman,
cult
right?
classic.
Yeah.
A cult classic.
Okay.
The other two though, like they're B movies and they're so. The guy who directs this was into special effects before, so he knew about special effects, and I'm sure he writing everything based on special effects. Part 2 and Part 3 are so good, but they're so like they're horrible, but not like horrible bad, horrible great, but horrible deplorable. Like they're the bedroom scene. The like all I'm gonna say is that the bedroom scene.
There's in the first movie or the second
one.
movie?
The second room. There's the bedroom scene. Like once it starts, like the moment it starts, it's so voracious and so quick, but so long and so just. You're like, holy fuck! What am I watching?
Oh
Have you
god.
ever watched something called Die, You Zombie Bastards?
No, but
You
that sounds
should.
fun.
You should.
Okay.
I feel like it's like on that same level. Like from what you're describing and like from what I remember from that movie, it's like same level. It's like it was that B flick, and I remember going down to Hastings before they had closed down, and they had a row of B flick core that you could just rent. And then when they closed down, it became yours. So I have Die, You Zombie Bastards.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
from
with
Hastings
their little
Rental.
label on it.
Yeah, it's like it's good. Man.
So I just saw a video recently that I want to talk about. So Redbox has gone under.
Yes.
Right? But there are still Redbox machines out there. And people have realized
Yeah.
not all of them have completely turned off. Now, they are disconnected from the internet, all the Redbox machines.
So like, what's in there?
But some people have realized like some of the machines you can actually just still go through the checkout process, and it's not charging your card, and people are just taking the
disc.
The discs.
Oh, wow.
The next time I go to Kroger or something.
Yeah,
like
the next
that,
time
or
you see a
Walgreens.
Redbox, try to check out in it and see if it.
That's so sad, though, because Redbox was such
a nice, convenient
nice.
little thing.
Yeah, like we did
It was.
Redbox when I was supporting my wife through grad school, and
Hell yeah.
just, that was the cheap way we could have entertainment, that I drove the 5 miles there and back to get the Redbox movie while I was supporting higher education.
Can I go pee?
Yes, just don't let the boy out.
I will not. Boris will listen to me.
We're just taking a
He
little
might.
bathroom and food break.
Well, we've actually been going a pretty long time.
Yeah, it's
I'm not
If you have to
exactly.
cut it off, that's okay too.
No.
it's about an hour, 2.5 almost.
About almost. When we started, about 7:30.
Yeah, like after 7.
Okay, it was
Oh,
after
I
7. I don't know if it was 7:30 or not.
No, we're at this point we can call it. I mean, I'm going to do another shot just for the sakes
He's
of
gonna do a
shot
shot?
speeds.
I'm gonna
So-
Nick,
dip some garlic.
What are your? Sean, what are
your upcoming gigs?
Oh, I don't have anything upcoming. Everything it's been passed. I was in, Ringgold, Georgia 2 weeks ago last Friday. I was in
Okay.
Gatlinburg last Friday. I was in Clarksville. So I don't have anything other than
Really?
November 30th. Unfortunately, that's my next scheduled show, but that's the show I produce out in Baxter, Tennessee.
At the winery.
At the winery, the clean comedy show. I've got Big Rich coming out for the next show. Actually getting ready to shorten those shows to only 4 times a year because
Really?
yeah, it's just a little bit too much. They wanted it every month, but then there are other issues as well. Let's just put it that way.
That's fair. I mean, sometimes you and the venue just don't agree on things. I remember a venue I worked with where like they just didn't understand how like comedy worked, and they wanted us to like book big headliners, and it was like it just
Bert
wasn't.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, like they were like expecting like that level, and it was like
You guys know
It's
everybody.
not-
You guys can just get over there.
there's no way I can obtain.
I had this particular venue going like, what would it take to get a big name out there? Like they wanted clean like a Shonda Pierce or somebody like that. And I was like, I can't get you to communicate with me or put tickets up sooner than a week before. How do you, and I can say this knowing that they'll never watch this podcast,
Sure.
but going like, how do you expect me to get you somebody to put my name out, try to talk to somebody? Like I was even thinking about Killer Bees at one point, but I can't get them to communicate with me or put up tickets or, that type of stuff. So that's where I was like, you know what? It's not worth doing a show, putting up with the stress, because they wanted it at one point every month. Now I wouldn't do. We don't do February. At one point, we don't do February
Do
because
they have the budget for that?
it's basically a ticket sale split. Do they have the budget? We would have to sit here and go like, okay, this is. And normally when you plan out a show like that, you have to go, okay, this is the capacity that we can set. And I would have to sit there and go like, okay, you need a realistic capacity, because they were thinking like 300 people in this venue with all the tables up and everything. I was like, no, you'll have to take the tables out to get a 300 person venue seat for that. Then you have to go like, you have to figure out what your costs are, and knowing that you have to sell half the venue to break even. That's basically what most shows do. They go like, this is what we have to sell to break even. Even like, because
Which is half.
it's half.
Sure.
You have to sell half the show, half the whatever your seating capacity is to break even, not including what you'd make on drinks or whatever.
And if you sell the show out, then everybody makes their.
Then everybody makes money.
Everyone does.
That's typically the par for the course, is that you have to sell half the audience to break even. half the show to make even.
Yeah.
So that's in most shows that I've worked with in different stuff that I've done. And so I couldn't get them to commit to like putting up tickets on time or communicate with me or make a last minute decision like, oh, I'm sorry, we haven't sold enough tickets, therefore we're canceling the show, even though everybody's held their calendar and people have held their time. And these are dry bar comedians that I've booked for this show.
Dry bar.
Yes. Do you know dry bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a couple people who have done dry bar here in town.
Yeah. Oh, we've got quite a few dry bar comics in
We have,
town.
Renard. We have
John
Lee
Toy and his
Harden.
wife.
Oh yeah, Paula did one.
Paula's done one. It hasn't
Paula's
come
done
out yet. We've had shoot. I'm blanking on names. Rick Roberts has done one. Johnny W., who lives in here in Middle Tennessee, has done one. We've got quite a few dry bar comics that live here in Nashville, but they didn't want to. They wanted that show, but they didn't want to like necessarily like communicate or put up tickets on time. Or when I've gone, like my famous last story with dealing with this venue. And I'm showing I've had too much of this. Now I'm willing to talk.
Yeah, there you go.
So good. Now I'm enjoying this.
You're enjoying it. Okay, that's good. All right.
Hey,
No, like I told you before, this
Sean
is
is
what I've been
getting
waiting for.
stinky.
I want to sit down and bullshit with you.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't mind doing that at all. It's
I know. Hold on.
it's I just realized like 2 weeks before the show that they didn't have their on their website, their new website that they finally got up 2 weeks before the show, finally with tickets up. Finally it realized they had their tickets listed for free.
Oh!
Yes. Now, if you clicked on the thing to try to order a ticket, there was a price and everything. But they didn't see a problem with that. Like, well, when you click on the ticket thing, that, you still have to pay for it. And I was like, no, that's a problem. You need to change that. And then they were like,
have the price right
well,
there.
then they were like, oh, it's okay, because when you click on the web link on the Facebook page, it would take you to the correct page. So I clicked on it and I was like, that's not even worked them, and sent them a screenshot of the 404 error that I got from their web page. And so
fix some stuff.
finally the God bless you. Finally, a week before the show, they finally got the tickets up and then complained about the show that they didn't think anyone was funny in a really just, let's say they didn't have a Dale Carnegie course in explaining that, where I said, you know what? Okay.
Okay.
I want less shows from you, not more shows. I love producing shows. I don't know how you feel about producing shows.
I like them. It depends on the venue. You
Yeah.
know, and it depends on what kind of thing you're producing. It's all right. Like running mics are fun, because it's like every week and you get to really get to know that venue, and as long as it's like a free, happy thing, everyone's having a good time. Like. Those ones are always fun, but when the money gets involved with paid shows and everything, those can be a pain. Some of the ones that require like a room fee or
Do you deal with comics that have a guarantee? Because
Some
I'm
do.
dealing with a lot of bands now, trying to get book bands, and bands are demanding a guarantee, which is you can't have.
For like a podcast like ours, it's
You can't
weird.
There's no
'cause,
audience. There's no audience.
Yeah.
Like, am I gonna pay you in our views? Because what the fuck?
Are you gonna get us views?
Yeah, that's the question you have to
That's
ask.
the main thing.
When I had Renard Hirsch on my show on January of this past year, I had to do a guarantee with him, which I was willing to put up the money for
Can I
that.
ask how much is Renard's guarantee?
He was a $300, and that was low for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But that was low for
Did he
him.
do like a half hour? Or
Yeah, he did a half hour.
Okay.
But he did a great half hour, and the show sold out enough to where he got more than that because I break it up in a percentage. For the show I've got in November, because I've got a guy coming in from Georgia, Big Rich Brock.
Big Rip. Don't know. Who
He's
it
a
is.
He's another dry bar comic.
Dry bar.
I got to work with him. He was the show I did in Georgia, Ringgold, Georgia,
Very
a couple
sick.
Fridays ago.
Okay.
Really good comic, really good guy. I had to guarantee him X amount of money.
Amount.
But I was like, okay, we'll guarantee you X amount of money. And it wasn't it was, I've guaranteed him, I won't say what I guaranteed him, but lower than Renard, because he's coming in from out of town, huh?
How many digits?
Just 3.
3 digits? Okay.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't guarantee any more than that because it doesn't make that much money, my shows.
Right.
So I'm having bands that are like wanting $2,000.
Really?
$2,000.
Yeah, that's insane.
And they're Nashville bands. They're Nashville bands.
But this is the thing about not only about bands but comedy as well. Comedians are almost a dime a dozen, and especially bands in Nashville.
But good comedians and
Good comedians are a different thing. But I'm all for the favor of like,
You should invite them to sit in on one.
yeah, well, if you get, for example, okay, let's take this right here. I got call from one time from Wilson Bank and Trust. We all hopefully know who they are. They're a big bank in the Middle
they
Tennessee area. They're a local bank, but a big bank. They were like, we want you to come do our event, and you'll get some great exposure from doing our event. Knowing that their CEO makes over $1 million and stuff like that, they've got the money.
Right.
But they wanted that, and they refused to pay anything else other than that,
Fuck that.
where I could say no. And there are some well-meaning people who call me up and go like, I've got this charity event. That's great, but there's only so many charities that you could support and stuff like that. So some people you have to say no to.
Right.
And I'm sure there are people who will do something out there for free. I'm just not one of them. If you're a band that thinks your value and know that you can get X amount of dollars from doing one other gig, great. But I'm sure some of the bands you're talking to aren't those people.
So this is the thing. Not one of them. Not one. And I'm not talking shit about any particular band.
Yeah.
But like I go out and I see these bands. Now there are some local bands, like the band that does our theme song for our Saturday show. The fuck you. That band, Modern Primate.
Yeah.
That's a band that deserves like to be paid. But the reality, are they going to wind up being paid for like $2,000 for a show or two? Highly unlikely for the most part. I mean,
Yeah.
a band making any particular money, especially a local band playing in their local areas, aren't going to make any money because of one main reason. People have already heard them, and not just once, but twice. If you're a fan of a band, say I'm a fan of this band, I went to their live show, then I went to their live show and bought their demo, then I went to their live show and I bought their album. At some point that they're going to have to continue to create more and more content, and a lot of bands, it's very hard to continue. Like a stand-up comedian, you guys can write a new minute or a new 5 minutes probably within 2 weeks you'll have a new 5 minutes, right? And you can, every time that you play somewhere, you might have a new 5 minutes.
Hopefully it'll be good.
Hopefully, right?
It's like, yes, but is it good?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But with a band, before that song even gets approved through the committee of the band itself, it has to be approved by everybody. Someone has to write the song, then everyone has to get into it, and then they have to decide whether it's going to be worth recording or worth, just being filler or whatever. And it's just like, it's so hard for a band to get together and come up with 8 songs, and then they tour on those 8 songs for a year. Like, imagine doing your same 5 minutes for a year, or 20 minutes.
Man.
Well, but for your audience though. So your audience sees you and sees your 5 minutes. Then they go and see you another 3 months later, like, oh hey, look, Kate, we saw Kate on there. But then they see you again, and you're still doing your same 5 minutes. Well, it's the same thing with a band. Like, I love this band, and I'm going to go see this band again. But if I'm not getting any new material from them, it is the same with any other musician or comedian. So it's very hard to make any money on that. So the only way to really make any money is to be a band from out of town who is going to wind up sitting in with this. And then, but again, like, that winds up, you're not bringing your audience. Like, you're a band from North Carolina, your audience isn't following you from North Carolina.
Yeah. So I've got to ask you a question because we're dealing in this subject right now. Have you dealt with, because I deal this with many levels of entertainment, where they're like, I've done this for so long, I deserve this money. Where it's like, no, that's not the case. You don't deserve this money because you've been doing it this long. You deserve this money because you're good. You have all these credits behind you. You can get paid from somewhere else if you don't get paid by them. You have traction, actually.
So that's exactly what's happening. And I'm not calling it entitlement because, look, as a musician, I feel that everybody should get paid. If you're going to go play somewhere, you should. But the reality is, especially when I was a kid, as a teenager playing shows, I maybe got paid 5 shows out of 300. Like, the reality of getting paid, like, when you're doing something, you're doing it for the love of it. You're not going to, like, I know bands right now that are doing the guaranteed pay thing, whether it's $200 or what, and they went from playing, say, 10 to 20 times a month to playing 2 times a month. Well, who is that affecting? Is that affecting them, or is that affecting their audience? So, like, they're only taking paying gigs. Well, if you love to play music, don't you want to play more than those 2 times? When I was in Mud Crickets with Sloan, who was also on this show, we got paid twice. Every show, when I first joined that band, that first year, we probably played near 60 fucking shows, and I was like, I had my first 2 weeks with them was a crash course. My first 2 weeks with them, I was learning songs and then playing these like dive bars, and then we went straight to playing fucking like festivals and shit like that. And it was just a matter of just like wanting to do it. And the reason why I was wanting to do it was to play again. It was to be up on a stage and be able to perform and play music and be able to do what I fucking do.
But if you also want to do that all the time, you need money.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the goal for all of us, is, or at least for us, eventually, is we want to.
Like, I want to do it all the time, but I also need to live somewhere.
Yeah.
That's also what I get. And then they also say, well, don't quit your day job. And I get that. But I mean, like, so.
Don't quit your daydream. My friend Bone Robinson said that.
Yeah. And that's true, too. But the reality of, like, so any place that we're going to play, especially in Nashville, when you're talking about dive bars, Nashville is known for dive bars. Not many dive bars are going to have, like, I can think of some of my favorite places, and they don't pack out. They don't bring anything. Like, a lot of bands that I know that, you know, doing the guaranteed pay thing, and they're not playing, like, they're not doing the thing that they enjoy, and so they're making that decision of, like, yeah, you can stand your guard and say, well, I'm only going to play paying gigs, but that also means that you're not going to be playing. And
Yeah.
if you love to play.
And so there's a lot of musicians out there. It's like their first band or their primary band is not the only thing that they're doing. And like they sit over here, or they're doing a studio session over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that's also a part of being a musician. And one of the things that I'm really excited about is like taking on stand-up as far as like doing things solo and just being able to pick up and like, you know what, I'm going to dive bomb fucking Nick's show tonight. Or I'm going to fucking show up at Bobby's and fucking have a couple of drinks.
It's just you making that decision.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, I'm going to go do this.
Yeah. So like that's the exciting thing for me as far as my creativity and the next step of what I want to do within the creativity, because I don't want to give up music and I don't want to give up podcasting, because the podcast started as a fluke, and so I enjoy this. This is just enjoyment. Like I'm not doing this right here. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this at all for anything. Like this came out of a joke, and it's been a great experience doing it. But I'm also doing the music on top of that, and then I'm really excited about doing comedy, as we've been doing this as a comedy show for the last couple of years, and I've really been learning from a lot of people.
The comedy's been fun.
Yeah.
That's right. It brought me on board. It brought all these other folks. Kate's on all the time, you know.
Well, it's
like,
so what I really like about comedy is that the realism. Like people will. It's great. Like you could tell people who are making up a bit for the fact that making it a bit, they didn't really actually do this, and they said they did this just for the bit. But then there's the realists, and they're up there, and they're coming off with some real shit, and you can see it in their eyes, like, oh, this is real experience that we're getting right here. And like, this is something special. This isn't something that they wrote. This is something that they lived. And they're sharing this with us right now. And so these couple of minutes that you get with these people right now, and they're like, this is something they thought of, they pre-thought of it, they've wrote it out, they thought it out, they're presenting it to you. And even though it's written, you know that this is real life experience. And then like, you're knowing the person for who they are, for what they are, for who they are, for how they are, and you're getting it in like a shot in the arm, like a vein.
Because it's like right in front of you.
Yeah. And so then like, you're automatically like relating with this person. You're already like bros with this person. You're like,
I will always remember it's Bobby Sutton's sign off, where she's like, I'm Bobby Sutton and I'm dying. And that's it. And it's like,
That's it.
But like her entire set is fantastic. It's like you get in and she pulls up the little
Her character is so silly.
And the way that she's just signs off, I'm like, yeah.
I think
I did watch her set from last week.
she did 30 minutes. She opened up with 30 minutes.
She don't give a fuck. She don't give a fuck. The same way that Ronnie doesn't give a fuck. Like,
Exactly right. They get in there and they're not concerned about time. They're just in the moment. They're in their character. Ronit's in her character.
True.
Bobby is in her character. Yeah. Look, man, the first time like I saw Ronit was like I didn't even talk to the story. I was like at Monty's Rebar. Ronit closed, and at the point I was like early in the show trying to book for the show, and I was trying to get to Ronit. And I couldn't get. She closed the show, and after she was done, everybody crowded around her, and there was like the fucking Iron Brigade around fucking Ronit to the point where you couldn't get into her. Like and then she's literally got the iron curtain around her, man. And I couldn't get to her.
Her hair touch your cheek.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I finally had to like, hey, I told Monty, I was like, Monty, I gotta leave, but like, can you please talk to Ronit and get her on the show? Which we never could, because like, she's a force of nature. Like,
she's been on the show a few times though.
No, she has now. Like, I had to like, you have to wrangle her. Like, you have to like flip her around. Like, hi, I'm Rev. Please do my show. She's great. And then like, she has the exact polar opposite. So like, the new Abbott and Costello of Nashville is Ronit and Amy Gross. Like, to me, they are Abbott
my goodness.
and Costello, and they go everywhere. And the last 4 times they've done this show, they've done it together. And so I've tried to have like Ronit on one show going first, Amy on another show going on first, trying to balance them out. But like, they are so different. Like, Ronit is just chaotic, neutral goodness, right? Yeah. Like, she's like insane, but like, yeah, right. Chaotic and then when you get to Amy is like super like laid back and like she's a slow burn. Like, you know, she's not going to go up there and do 5 minutes. She's going to go up there and do 15. And then you're along for the ride, you know? It's just like...
That is true.
Yeah. And then, like, she doesn't do anything. Like, I'm so thankful that she does this show. She won't do anyone else's podcast. She barely does comedy shows, and she'll only really, like, show up if Ronit, like, drags her around. Like to get her to do something is special.
She would come to Love and Exile sometimes, and then Kegs. That was really her main spot. And Coco, when I was still around.
I don't remember at Coco, but I definitely remember at Kegs.
Yeah, like Kegs was like her
Kegs
spot.
was her
she
place.
Would hang out all the time there.
Or Cafe Coco?
There's Cafe
Coco, yeah.
Yes.
Cafe Coco, yeah.
I went to
That's
one
what I mean.
there. I didn't know it was started so early, but I got there. Again,
well, it's more like you had to get up early for
you
sign up.
Yes.
You walk in and you think it's going to be somewhere else. You think it's going to be somewhere more open.
I mean, but honestly, I
like you're sitting on
Cafe Coco was the open mic,
cat.
the only one that felt like a comedy club to me, in a way. You know, when we would all hang out in like the hallway and stuff, and you know, like when I hosted it, I had a lot of fun. You know, it was a good time.
But you've done Zanies though.
Yeah, I've done Zanies too, and Zanies is fun as shit too.
Have you done Zanies?
I have not.
Have you done Zanies?
No, I've been there.
I've been there plenty of times, but haven't gotten It's kind of a mecca of Nashville comics, which is the reason why so many comics go to the lab on Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Trying to get noticed, but it's just hard. I think the thing that you have to realize is that the road to success isn't always through Zanies. Now, you still want to try to get on Zanies because it's, could be a great thing, but I don't think the road...
It shouldn't be the ultimate
I mean,
goal.
Patton Oswalt, I heard a great story from, was where he told the story. It was like, there's not a one... The old days when he first started out, there was one way to do comedy, for the old guys like Don Rickles or... put any old comic in there. There was one way you had to do. We're in a society nowadays where there's not one way. There's TikTok.
What is it, Alex Van Zandt? Alex D. Van Zandt? I don't know, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, what is it? I can't.
He's on my show.
There's
Alex
Oh,
Van Zeeland.
nice.
Yes,
Wait,
Alex Van
wait.
Zeeland.
She's doing your clean show?
No, I was thinking Alex Voluto is what I was thinking you're talking about. But Alex, yeah.
Van
Okay.
Zeeland.
Yes.
I was like, I would love to see her try to do
Fantastic.
clean.
No, that wouldn't work.
That's not her style.
That's not her
at all.
style.
Primarily TikTok.
So I
And
do.
it
But-
pops off.
But Carolyn Xavier's another example of that, where she's done really well by
her,
going
like,
to
image.
TikTok and putting out all those videos of the recovering Californian. And
All right, so
True.
what
Building a
we'll go
following.
around the room. What is your favorite, you've got a video to post. What is your favorite platform to post it on? Are you doing TikTok or doing Instagram? Like the very first platform you post your new 60 seconds. I mean, what are you posting on? Are you posting on TikTok or what?
Do it Instagram.
Instagram, yeah, definitely.
Instagram.
I'm kind of Instagram, knowing that it'll cross-platform automatically to
Facebook.
Facebook because you set it up that way.
Yeah.
And then my very next one is to do it on TikTok.
Followers are at, like, I don't
TikTok
have a
TikTok
strong
was the one that like
TikTok.
I didn't invest a lot into. Like I just didn't care about it at all.
I like TikTok, and especially my posts that go more political, because I was told, especially at one point, it's like, because I did a Trump joke one, and all the Trump
I think I remember
fans
that joke.
just went on there and just was insane. And so I turned off the comments, and I had another friend of mine who does really well on TikTok, who does, as silly as it sounds, face painting. She was like, she does this fantastic stuff. And she was like, let them go ahead and hate and just ignore them, and then just let other people,
Sometimes I watch soap cutting videos.
There you go.
There you go.
That's something that
That's there. If you got a
You get
TikTok
through.
idea,
So
do
I
it.
lets you get by.
I post stuff on TikTok and I don't watch things. But there's a video that winds up popping up, and it's this fucking, and I don't know why, but it's this fucking dude. He's a cop, and he sets up these balloons of white paint above the doorways for his family, and then he sits over and snipers the balloon till his
Really?
family passes under, and they all are into it now. So they're all in this thing where they. Obviously, I don't know how you could live in a situation like you're constantly going to get hit with a balloon of white paint. To me, that would be just PTSD.
They constantly get hit in balloons in my house, but that's in the story.
That's true.
I would
That is
not.
very true.
They you throw a balloon at me.
But
I'm sorry.
yeah, but I don't know, man. It's just all right. So
Guy
to
that
me,
snipes-
it's
is there anything in the balloons?
yeah,
Yeah, white paint.
Okay.
yeah. To me, when I get on social media, of course, I'm not doing anything for me personally. I'm doing things for the show. But the very first thing I cut my video, and then I put it on Instagram because I like their filters better, especially comes with the subtitles. And then I
True.
download the Instagram video, to which then I post to all the other ones, the YouTube,
Yes.
TikTok, Facebook, and I don't have my Instagram and my Facebook linked because I want every platform to have one video that's special to that platform and only that platform, because
idea.
I'm like, well, why have 5 different platforms that I'm posting on if I'm posting the
all
same
the same
video,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
So I want to post every day, but
Kind of like what Pornhub does, where it's like, this 3 minutes is just right here. You want the whole thing, you gotta go here.
actually, I thought about posting our shit on Pornhub.
Maybe that would get
I
us
mean,
some
there's other shit on
traction.
there. Yeah.
Well, apparently I'm.
You have all the files. You could just backlog,
No, I have to delete everything. So there's
I don't see how people build these great video streaming empires and like hold all this content because they must be like building their own server farms because how much like memory do you like just like the first 2 seasons of DNP. I mean, it takes like 3 terabytes. It's just like every fucking show. I mean, it's like 10 terabyte or 10 gigs each episode. I think is like 10 to 15 gigs.
Jeez.
And then that's just a regular episode. That's not all the extra episodes that we do. And then we do a Spanish version of this show and stuff, which is crazy. And
Telemundo.
yeah. We have our own. So
Wait,
like
how do you say it? It's
Deliciosamente Nada.
Hey,
There we go.
So basically, I'm looking at Deliciously Nothing as a channel and not just as a show. So we have like this is our Deliciously Nothing podcast. It's what we call the Wednesday show, just to keep things in. Then we have an Evening of Comedy, which is our Saturday show, which, man, we have a pretty good lineup. We have a band, Really Bad People. We have a keyboard guy who's doing a special event just for our show, Tim Grogan. Then we have 6 or 7 comedians. You guys are actually doing Saturday show. It's going to be a really great show. But then we have a drinking show, which is Shot Ones, which is a parody on Hot Ones. And like that has gone ridiculously wrong, but also in the right ways.
They just
it was just great.
do you give 10 shots? Is that
So we started off at 10 shots because I figured 10 shots, but it was too easy. It was too easy. It was like they got the 10 shots. They weren't slurring. They were nothing. So we're like, well, we'll just keep pouring and see if anyone notices. And like at 15 shots, they were like, well, I guess we hit 10 shots, but we're going to keep going. And next thing I know, like dude's like puking in a bucket and falls face first into the bucket.
Yeah, dude.
Of course. Hello.
What else is he doing?
We've got a show
Was that
series.
like 21 shots at the end of the
That
night
was 21.
or something?
But we have a show that hasn't even hit the air yet that is still in post-production called Deliciously Kolbinski, which is supposed to be, it was supposed to be a series of one-offs. So like we were going to have like multi-talented artists who were like comedians and musicians and so pretty much have them come on and do a version of DNP, but it was all them. So like they hosted it, they did the stand-up comedy, they did the
I know a dude named
music.
Corey Mack that could do that.
Music
Right.
portion.
He's a musician. He wants to do comedy. He's interested in that.
Right.
If he's watching. He has his own show, has his own like Instagram and all that stuff. Like he hosts, he can do the music, and he knows some jokes or is trying to make some
Well,
jokes.
that's what we were gonna do. So we had like Alex Van Zealand we were gonna hook up. You know,
She'd
it's
be good with that too.
right. So
Yeah.
like there was a few people that we were gonna like hit up for this, but the first person that Tegan Stewart was gonna be another. She's blowing up right now.
It's kind of like a Looney Tunes.
Yeah, she's got actually sung on the radio, doesn't she?
Man, she cut a new album. I think it's called New Nashville. I'm not exactly sure. I could be wrong. Sorry, Tegan, if I fucked that up.
was one of her songs.
But so like we were gonna reach out to these people who were, you know, like kind of like jack of all trades, and then do these one-off episodes of just them and like a showcase of them. We did the first one with Jones, and Jones got Daniel Hobbs on. He got a couple of people that he knew that we didn't know before, and the way it went down was just amazing, to the point like if we did it live, it would have been perfect.
I mean, it was very like dry British comedy almost in a way.
You
It
did
was,
all right. So the whole idea when we started was
like
like
improv.
everything's
It was great.
a bit, even if it seems like it's not. Like when we had to make sure like when we start this, it started. Everything's a bit. Everything was improv. No matter what was going on, everything was improv, and you have to know going into it that it's improv. Otherwise,
the floor is level.
right.
Everything's
There was
like Jones was like full character.
well,
Like,
his
it was
girlfriend was here, and she was even like, "Are they for real? Are they like really? You know?" And I'm like, "No, this is all a
Everything's a
bit."
bit.
Right,
great.
right.
It was all bit. It's
Even
all
to the
there.
point where I was behind the board, and I was like, well, especially with the Daniel Hobbs shit. Like Daniel's really sold it to the point where it was like, well, is Daniel really upset? And I'm like, no, still a bit. All right, cool.
Still a bit.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like to the point where like, you know, we talked after it was like, well, how do you feel like doing this as a series? And he was totally on board. So this first one we're doing, he's going to kind of do this absurdist cut of it as far as like being as a pilot. But then for then on, we're going to be doing them live. He's got his life going on. He's congratulations, by the way. He's getting married and all this other shit. So
He is?
supposedly, I might be speaking out my ass. Hey, I probably don't know what I'm talking about. I've been drinking and I'm pouring
She
more
has
on.
been proposed to.
Well, but I just know. I just
How she's
didn't.
finding
I don't know. I haven't
Yeah.
checked, but I
I haven't seen Daniel in a while. That's the reason why I haven't.
Yeah.
Oh wait, are you saying Dan?
No, not Hobbs.
Or
No, not Hobbs.
Jones.
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 Okay, gotcha. I thought you were talking Daniel Hobbs. I was like, oh, okay.
No,
Well,
Daniels is
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know.
no. Daniel is doing his thing. Daniel Hobbs, by the way.
there you go. Okay.
Daniel Hobbs, by the way.
We love him. Friend of
Love
the
you.
show.
Okay.
You're definitely a friend of the show. But no, Jones. Congratulations, Jones, for getting married.
Yeah, dude, congrats. I didn't even know. But I honestly have not been on social media a lot lately, so it's been
Well, Nick has been faced into some pussy lately, so he's not been really kind of aware of the world around him.
that's
We gotta
true.
wipe the glisten off of his face every once in a while. Join the real world.
That's true. I need to.
I think that's all the shows, though, right? I think Jones Klebinski, Deliciously Samantha Nada, Shot Ones, OG Podcast, and even a comedy.
Yeah, that's
I would do
everything
a shot
right
glass.
there.
If it's like
Come
a Party City
do-
shot glass, like when you seen the little like they're neon colored. shot glasses,
So
they're
you've
like
seen
that.
the little solo red ones that we do?
I've seen those. Those
We
are
do
so good.
those.
Okay.
Half of those.
No, it'd be a full one.
Do you like?
Well, a 3/4. It's a
Well,
3/4.
come do it one Saturday. I think
I
we
would
do it
Uber.
on the
Well, I would
alternate.
Uber.
We can
It's
do
like
it.
once
We
a
can
month
do
or
an
something,
all-female
right?
one, so we can find.
CJ
That would be a fun one.
CJ
So-
drinks.
CJ is a
I like
tour de
CJ too.
force.
Oh, but I love
She would be
CJ.
so fun. It would.
Oh, my goodness.
So I'll reach out to CJ. I'll even
When
send
you
her
said
this
she sounds
clip.
familiar. Like yeah, I was like, it took a second. I'm like,
Yes.
what? Right.
Yes.
We had CJ on last Saturday, and she is, man, every time she comes on, she's fucking
What a
great.
treat.
And she was a very treat when she came on the show last week. So she would be a great opponent for Shot Ones. That would
An all
be great.
females one. That would be like.
That would be
That
awesome.
would be a
That would
good
be great.
like I don't know. You seen like was it the Talk or the View or some shit like that? It was like that.
There you go.
But this think of like the.
Not like the all
blank.
females Ghostbusters though. We'll have like the all females, all females Shot Ones. There
I
it
feel
is.
like I
Yes.
feel like a Kate McKinnon.
Who's Kate McKinnon?
The weird. She's usually like kind of like the weird one. So in Ghostbusters, she was like just the blonde, short, spiky.
Oh,
hair.
that chick.
Yeah.
That's that chick.
Yeah.
She's man. She's like hot in a very weird X Factor way. You keep
She
looking
knows
at-
what she gets, and she's working what she gets.
Yeah.
You know, it's
That's
one
true.
Of those. It's one of those.
That's true.
It's like
Hell yeah.
respect. Like you saw what you had on the inside, and you're bringing it out.
So, Sean, what is the quickest balloon animal you could make?
Oh, worm.
The worm?
Hold on. I got to text the wife. Sorry, we're still recording. Period. She's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "We're still recording, believe it or not."
It's oh shit! It's 10 o'clock.
Yes.
All right, let's.
Never punctuate with punctuate.
Kate, would you
I
like
do
to
that all the
one more
time.
Shot with me? Or
Fill
you
it to
good?
like the cheekbones.
Cheekbones. All right.
Cheekbones.
I'll do a cheekbones too.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Alright,
explain
well-
to the wife. Like, yeah, we were talking in a podcast for like 3 hours.
Yeah, and we were just talking about all
That's
sorts
kinda
of things.
What you do
like-
on a podcast is talk. But we did kind of
Jeez.
Joe Rogan it tonight, which is good.
Yeah,
which
we
is
did.
good. Let me get you on there. There we go.
Good times.
I don't mind Joe Rogan it.
No, he's great, man. Like, so, like, when he has like a comedian or something on, like, I'll listen to it at home. But like, if it's somebody that I don't know, I'll listen to it at work, where it's like in the background. So I pretty much I listen to all his shows, but do I intently listen to all of them? Not intently, no. But like, you know, like if there's like someone on there, like fucking, I don't know, like Bill Burr or somebody like.
Oh,
that.
that's you wanna
Bill
listen
is
to.
fun. Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Well,
the F is for family.
that was a great cartoon.
The
I
first
love
season,
that.
I like the first season. I kind
I
of
watched all of
second
it. It
season
was
I
a
kind
good
of fell
time.
out.
Hell
But
yeah.
it kind of gave me that 70s show vibe.
Yeah,
But,
from
like-
Ren's point of view.
But exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So that's what I really liked about it.
He is very red-esque, that's for sure.
All right. So do you want to do it, or should I do it? Or...
You know what? Ladies and gentlemen, fuck you all. Good night.
Fuck you all,
Yes.
good night.
If you want to see more balloons, come check in on Saturday. We'll bring the balloons. I'll bring the balloons.
Nate, what's your last name?
Flower.
No, not Nate.
Yeah. Coming big.
See, funny?
All right. Sean, you got any upcoming gigs?
No, upcoming gigs right now, but if you want to check me out on doing balloons, TN Balloon Guy on Facebook, Facebook.com/TN Balloon Guy, Instagram.com/TN Balloon Guy, or if you want to check me out doing comedy, it's Balloon Guy Comedy.
Or search
yeah.
Al Gore photo.
For the Al Gore photo, I'll have to find that one.
And let's find out what the fuck's in Antarctica. Good night.